Hello everyone. So get yourself ready. And I have already my coffee. So we are going soon live. Ah, nice to see Black Soul is here as well. And we are live. Hi everyone. So first of all, I would like to say welcome, and I need to hear from you whether you can hear me good, because now I have here completely new setup. I'm using Mac after a long time. So I hope that you hear me, because I didn't test, to be honest. This is the first time going with this setup live. So let me know whether you can hear me or not. And I hear myself, which is a good thing. So let me just check where this come from. All right. So everyone can hear me. This is perfect. Perfect starts. Now, what I'm gonna say, we're gonna start with our live stream. Everything is there ready. So yeah, welcome everyone. I'm really happy to go live again with you. It was like a while, right? From last time, I think we have done some interviews, some Databricks stuff, and finally I'm now back to live. I have a few topics that I would like to discuss with you, not only about the data architecture. There are some topics that I think it's only suitable for live. So first of all, I would like to say welcome. We're gonna talk about one topic, which is the data architects and the data architectures. As I said, maybe if you saw from the shorts that this is my favorite role that I have done. And yeah, and it is something that is not that easy to explain, but I'm gonna try my best to talk about it. So today it will not be a bootcamp, it will not be a course. It's gonna be, let's say, just to talk. I might give you some advices, I might sketch, depends on, let's say, how we're gonna go through the agenda that I have for you. So I'm gonna say I miss so much going live with you. Thank you, first of all, for everything, for the support, for the nice comments. The channel is going crazy, let me tell you. I think this month, the first time we are getting around 2 million views in a month, which is, I think, one of the highest records in the data channels. So I'm really happy about it. I think we are from top 3 channels now about the data, and that's all because of your support. So thank you so much for that. I'm really happy about it. And of course, I will keep pushing on that. Now, one thing that I'm gonna ask you, just make sure to not spam the chat. Make our job easier, as like for everyone to ask questions, and always stick with the topic. So we're gonna speak about today data architectures and architects. Please don't ask about, let's say, when you're gonna be doing the DAX and the Power BI or other topics. Let's just focus on the data architecture. So don't spam the chat. Just ask questions so that I can read it and answer you. And yeah, what I'm gonna say, we have one moderator. So thank you so much, Black Stole, for joining us today. And yeah, today gonna be, as I said, it is about the data architect and architectures. I would like to see, first of all, in the chats, how many we have here, data engineers and data analysts, because it really depends on the audience whether I'm gonna go deep dive into, let's say, data architect stuff, or I have to be careful with the data analysts that we have today. So Let me see how many data engineers and data analysts that we have today here. And other than that, I'm gonna say, yeah, I'm hearing myself. Let me just remove this here. All right. So we have here few data engineers, few data analysts, we have students, we have freshers. Oh, we have a lot of data analysts, which is gonna be interesting. Oh, let me see. Hey, data engineers, data analyst. Oh yeah, okay, we have a lot of data analysts here as well. Now, it is not a big problem. I'm gonna be like, let's say, giving you fundamental things, because there will be some data engineering topics that I will be covering as well. So it is relevant for you, whether you are a data analyst or data engineer. Don't worry about it. I just want to have, let's say, feeling about the audience. I got the big picture. It is a mix, and I know a little bit from the channel because I have a lot of Power BI and Tableau, let's say, viewers. Now, we're gonna speak about the data architects and what is the agenda about today. I will give you today just an introduction, okay? This is something not like we're gonna learn SQL or Power BI, where we sit together like 2 hours and now you are a data architect, okay? It is something that you're gonna learn over the time, all right? And it is something that's, let's say, you cannot take a course and become a data architect. It's like becoming a manager, you know? You need experience, you need to do a lot of projects, and once you have a lot of, let's say, enough experience, you can become, let's say, data architect. But today, what I'm trying to do is, I want to make your life easier, maybe to give you tips, so that I give you the mindset of how to think like a data architect, because it is one of the highest paid, let's say, data roles that you might have in a job. But we're gonna go in details about everything, about the job, about the role, about the mindset, about the skills. And after that, we switch, let's say, in the mid of the stream, where we're gonna talk about data architecture's topic. Like, for example, what is a data warehouse? What is a data lakehouse? What is very important to understand? What is a data product? What are the data mesh? And how we design the data architectures, okay? So we're going to speak about the concept in the second half, but in the first half, I want to introduce you to the job itself so that you have good understanding about it and you think whether this is going to be your career in the future, because you have always different paths, but we're going to deep dive into all those stuff. Now, I would like to, let's say, share my screen and start like talk about this role, but I still hear myself. Let me just find out from where. Let me just see here, just a second. Think from the studio here. So. Okay. So I'm gonna make this like this, and then we're gonna switch to my screen and we start talking. So, yes, perfect. You can see this, right? Now, where are we gonna start? Yeah, so who is the data architect? Just a very simple definition, or let's say, let's talk about it a little bit. It is someone that actually plans. It is someone that is, before like doing any implementations, any like building anything big at companies, we need someone that puts the plan for the execution. And it is like you are building, I'm gonna say, you are building a house, right? You have always you have an architect in order to make the plan to build the house. So now the process is very similar between those two. So before you start planning anything, you have to hear the requirements. And this is exactly what a data architect do. We sit together with the stakeholders, we hear the requirements, and start noting down what they need, what they want. So it's exactly like you are planning to build a house. You have the architect that is collecting your requirements, asking you some questions, understanding exactly what do you need. Now, after that, what's gonna happen is that he or she gonna take the requirement and start making a blueprint, start making the plan to build the house, right? Same thing with the data architect. He gonna go or she gonna go and start making the plan to build the data system. This is very important to understand this, because after that, actually, the data architect gonna hand over the plan Well, this is very simplified, but they're gonna hand it over to the builders. So the builders that's gonna build, let's say, the house, or the data engineers or the data expert that gonna start building the data system. So this is the core of the data architects. They understand the requirements. They gonna go and make a plan and then hand it over to someone else. Well, this is in the perfect world, but I'm gonna say this is the core of a data architect. So that means if you like see those three pictures, you have to have communication skills. You have to have skills on how to build the blueprint, and you have to have the skills to hand over the blueprints. Now, I can tell you, again, this is in the perfect world, but in reality, things goes in different directions. Now, for me, for example, I started at Mercedes-Benz as a solution architect. So we have different bigger terms on how we define this. I'm gonna say I end up doing multiple roles. So we're gonna be maybe the data architect, and at the same time we might be developing, and at the same time maybe leading a project. So it is not like, let's say in the data world, something clear separation between roles, but in the perfect, let's say on the papers, it is exactly like this. This is what the data architect do. Now, the next thing that I would like to show you is I have done some analysis about the technical skills that is required actually from a data analyst. Now, recently I've been doing a lot of work with the AI, where I was collecting a lot of jobs. I was analyzing the data. I collected around 20K jobs around about the data. So jobs about the data analyst, the data engineers, the data architects, so different roles. And I start doing analysis about what are the skills that are required in the job posting currently. Now, I know from here in Germany what are the requirements, but I would like to have like always up-to-date image, what is really requested for a data architect, for the data engineer, for the data analyst. So now what I'm showing you now, those are the top skills that are required from a data architect, okay? This is not about the data engineers or data analysts. Now, I'm gonna say about the technicality, we have, of course, technical skills and we have soft skills. Technical skills, almost every job posting is asking for SQL, data modeling. We have the Azure, Databricks, Python, data governance, AWS, and Snowflake. So those are, let's say, the skills that are mostly required from you as a data architect. But this is not the most important thing, because usually a data architect should not, let's say, develop anything. They just put a plan, right? That's why what is way more important is to understand what are the, let's say, soft skills, or let's say, what are the tasks that are requested from you. So here I can say, 83%, they ask the data architect, of course, to design the data platform architectures. This is our main job. Then the other task is about the data governance, the catalog, the contracts, designing a data model. This is really interesting because, to be honest, I didn't expect this that is requested so much from the data architect. I expect this from data analysts, from data engineers, but actually they are many expecting you as a data architect to do data modeling. Now comes something very important, the mentoring and coaching others. They expect from you as a data architect to mentor the others, to help the others in order to implement the plan, and as well collaborating with different departments, gathering requirements, and so on. So those are, let's say, I'm going to say the top requirements, or this is what company expects from you to do at the job as a data architect. Now comes something very interesting that I have done analysis on it, which is how many years they expect from you to be a data analyst. And here the average, I've got 7 years. So you're gonna see 5 years, you're gonna see like 10 years, 15 years, but the average, it's gonna be between 5 to 7 years, and this is totally expected. This role, it is not like a data engineer or data analyst where you go, I don't know, do some courses, collect informations, learn SQL, Python, and those stuff, and then you enter a job with it. This is not an entry job. This is a job that's where you grow with your skills during working as a data analyst or data engineer. So that's why they requires years, and too many years, in order to enter it. And this is, of course, the picture is totally different if you are data analyst or data engineer. So the requirement is around 7 years, and I totally expect this, because otherwise I cannot expect a data architect that can start working without any experience. This will not work, because again, this is something that you cannot learn from courses and stuff like that. Now, here comes as well, what are the data concepts that they mentioned from you to become a data analyst? What are the top topics? Like, the thing is, if you open any job posting about data architect, you're going to find a lot of terms, right? They're going to say data modeling, data architect, data governance, quality, and all those stuff. So here I have a full listing of all, like, let's say, terms that are mentioned in the job posting. Of course, the number one going to be the data architects or architectures. Then it is the data modeling. You have to have understanding about the data platform, governance, quality, management, data warehouses. You see, it's still one of the top requested, let's say, skills or understanding topic. You have the ETL, data ingestion, integration, Lakehouse, data lake, Lineage. So I'm going to say it is not like all of them are requested. This is just a collection of all, let's say, data concepts that you have to understand. And now what I'm going to try to do today is try to explain some of those concepts for you. And by the way, those concepts, it is not only requested from a data architect. I have done here the analysis as well for an engineer. So it is as well similar things, but with different priority. Like, for example, data engineer, they request number one skill is the data pipelines, then ETLs, data modeling, and so on. So there is like not a big difference between architect and engineer. You have to understand those concepts. And of course, you can understand those concepts either by doing the job or reading about it. Now, as I said, I'm going to give my best today to walk you through some of those concepts using sketches. And by the way, we will not do coding today, yeah? We will just sit, talk, and sketch. There's no coding, there's no project that I'm going to do. It is just, I want to bring you the understanding about this role. So with this, you can understand, let's say, they're going to require a lot of data concepts. They're going to request from you, let's say, a lot of years. And as well, they're going to request from you that you have knowledge about how to build a data architecture. You have knowledge about the governance, how to design data model, and how to mentor the others. So now I just wanted to show you those numbers before we dive in, because I would like you to understand, let's say, what is currently requested. And I have here like some job posting about the thing. You can see here, for example, from aliens here, I think in Germany, right? No, it is in Barcelona, so in Spain. So this is one of job posting about a data architect. And if I zoom in a little bit, you're gonna see that they gonna request from you a long list of things. So you have, for example, here to define the data architecture, the blueprints. You have to translate, let's say, I'm gonna say here, the requirements, to build the data architecture. You have to define the end-to-end data flows. So support the implementations. This is important, support the implementations. They don't request you to do the implementation on yourself. And what they're gonna request a lot of things. You can see understanding of the data mesh, the data lakehouse, between 5 to 8 years, Databricks understanding or Fabric. You can see here there is or, This is always interesting to see that none of the companies going to request from you two things at the same time, not Databricks and Fabric. You have to have only one of them. So you're going to see here a long list of things that they expect from you. And of course, you can understand all those stuff, I'm going to say, only by doing a project or by joining today. I hope that I can give you as much as I can today. And to be honest, I don't have like, let's say, it's the first time I'm talking about this topic in a stream or in a video. That's why I don't know how long this is going to take us today. So it's going to take us until my coffee is done, or until I'm tired. So now, I'm going to now deep dive into, by the way, I'm still not that good using my Mac. After 17 years working with Windows, I switched a few months ago. So that means now switching between things, it's always like a pain. Now, let's start. So how I'm gonna explain for you, because now data architects, we have different types. So let's start like this. I'm gonna grab this guy. By the way, those are mini figures that's adapted from my sketches. So I think if you watch my sketches, you're gonna understand that some of them are from my figures here. And by the way, if you want me, I could switch it to black, dark background. But I think for explanation, it's always nice to have a whiteboard. Now, let's start with the first one. You are a data engineer. So, and you join a team. We have a project team. We have here the data analyst. And what else do we have? Maybe we have a manager. Do I have a manager here? I should have a manager. Yeah, I have a manager. So you have here a manager and maybe a team lead, you know, team lead. Yeah, no, something like this. So I'm just building a project team, right? So here we have like a project team like this. This is projects team. Dun, dun, dun. Maybe I'm going to switch the font a little bit. All right. So this is one project team. Now, those people are building something, right? So they are the builders. They are building maybe a data warehouse. They are building something. Now, as well, we're going to have another team that is doing something else, okay? So usually we don't have only one team in the company. And by the way, as I speak to you about those stuff, I always think about big companies, okay? Because I have done, let's say, my last three, let's say companies were big companies. So I'm gonna give you always the big picture of big companies, not medium sized or small sized. Now, it starts always like this, where you join a team, you have a team leads, maybe you have as well, depends, on your company, you have a project lead. So project lead, and you build something with this team. Now, the thing is, during building the project and stuff like that, so you're gonna find yourself that some of those builders, those data engineers, start doing activities like a data architect. Like one of those engineers starts drafting. I don't know whether I have here blueprints. No. So starts like building a data architect. So this is what I call a casual data architect. So you're gonna find, as I said, one data engineer is sketching, or she is sketching like a picture saying, we're gonna build it like this. And this person is, let's say, going in direction as a data architect. But it is not dedicated data architect, okay? So this is someone in the team building and at the same time building architecture. We cannot say this is a dedicated one. Now, over the time, what's gonna happen is that this person get promoted, or the department gonna go and hire another data architect. Now, this data architect gonna be a dedicated one. It is will not be like, let's say, the casual one, okay? So this is the dedicated data architect. Now, you can see I have made this person outside of the teams, because the data architect now is not anymore responsible for building one project. He's not anymore part of a team. He's like something in between. And to be honest, I would like to go and switch this to maybe dark mode. Let me just check this. So this is to, let me know if you like this dark mode, but I would like to turn it to dark mode like this. Maybe it's better for you to see. Now, this data architect now is a dedicated one. So this is a situation. Either you're going to be part of the team and you are casual one, like me at the start. I was casual data architect. I was building things. Or you get promoted over the time and you become a data architect. Now, since you are not anymore part of a team, your job will not be anymore building things. Your job is to work between teams and start building the data architect for multiple projects. So again, this one is dedicated. The data engineer is dedicated only for one team, for one project, but the data architect once get promoted and once start to be a dedicated data architect, like the job that I showed you, you will not be part anymore of a team. You will be building architectures for different people or for different, let's say, projects. So this, I'm gonna say, we are not done yet because there are like multiple data architect types. So this is the level of, let's say, the team levels. Let me just make it like this. So we are still talking about the level of, building projects or doing projects. We are not speaking about the top end of data architects. Now, what happens is that you're going to find as well in the companies, as you go up in the hierarchy, you're going to find that you have, let me see here, do I have other icons? Yes. You will start as you go on top, you will find those top managers, okay, at the companies. So top managers. And you will start seeing new roles, like for example, the chief data officer. So this is as well elite jobs, okay? So you have here the data officer or the chief data officer, and then you're gonna find people on top, like for example, the chief security officer. And the roles, let's say those people at the top, they will be the people that are actually putting the strategy for the whole company. They are the planners, the people that do, so let me see here. So planning, strategy, and with that, I mean, of course, the data strategy. So those people on top, they don't usually build, they just make strategy planning for the whole company. And the word below, they are the builders. So that means if you are a data architect, you still are working between like 2-3 teams or 2-3 departments until if you decide to go really up to join those elites, you're gonna be the principal data architect. This is the last level for you. This is the principal data architect. So once you get promoted to the top, you're going to be with those elites where you might be, let's say, working as well with another architect, which is the enterprise architect. This is not the data architect. This is the enterprise architect. And again, you will not find like 10 enterprise architects. You will not find like 10 principal data architects. You're going to find like only few. So that means if you see this picture, it's going to work like this. If you're a data engineer or data analyst, you start as a casual architect. And after that, you get promoted to become the dedicated architects in the departments, in the teams. And the last level is you're going to go as principal data architect, which is, I'm gonna say, one of the highest paid roles that you might reach. Because if you look to this, what are your options, right? As a data engineer, what are your options? Is either you're gonna go, my friends, as a manager, right? Like a team lead, a department lead, whatever. You go to the management and you start getting promoted until, I don't know, you reach some high top management role. So this is the management. Or the other option that you have is to go as an expert, right? So you're gonna be, I don't know, the highest gonna be senior data engineer, senior data engineer, which I'm gonna say, it is good paid. You're gonna get some good money about it. but you cannot reach an elite level. Okay, with this, you're gonna be an expert that can work and do project and stuff like that, but you cannot be high paid at the companies. And the next one is actually the career, whether you're gonna go as an architect. And the architect's role, it is something that can open the door for you to reach, let's say, the elite level at companies, but still enjoying your job. Because to be honest, I don't like the management roles. It is something that you still, let's say, taking your knowledge, with the tech knowledge, with your experience, and still having fun on the job without being a manager. So what I'm trying to say is that the data architect role, it is amazing opportunity for you to reach high level at companies, but without going as a manager. If you don't enjoy managing people, if you don't enjoy, I don't know, having conflict between in your teams and the politics behind management and all those stuff, then the architect, it is like an amazing role that you can reach really high at companies. And you get as well equally paid, like other people, like a data officer or security officer or even a top manager. So it is an amazing role. And with that, you're gonna find those, I'm gonna say those are the 3 roles that you can reach as a data architect. And now I'm gonna be honest with you, I was something in between. I was here. I was leading projects in my last 2 jobs. And I'm still living in Germany, by the way. You want me to go back to the whites? If you guys want me to do that, I can do it. But I think the font, it's not that good. So now I think I burn all your eyes. Now, I think the font, I hope that you can see it well. So, all right, so I keep going. I'm gonna keep switching, if you keep asking me. No, so now, where I was, so what I was trying to say is there is not one type of data architects. There are like different levels, and I was in between. I was like this, and I was trying to become, let's say, manager at Mercedes-Benz, but then I decided no, I would like to stay in the technical aspects. I like to do projects. I like to build. I'm builder. I'm not, let's say, manager. And I was targeting one of those roles at the top. So before I leave Mercedes-Benz, I was targeting this one here. And I know a lot of, let's say, principals, data architects. I know their mindset and I know their stuff. So I was trying to jump to here, and then I left to do content. So I was this guy here, and that's why I will be explaining for you stuff that you can do and as a data architect. So I hope with this, it is clear for you the, let's say, the levels and that what are the different types. Which one you are responsible for what. So again, the data architects between departments, you have to look between different, let's say, projects. If you are a data architect inside a team, you decide only for your small scope. And if you go on the top, then you are deciding for the whole company, for the whole thing. Now, this is about the rules. Let me check what we're going to do next. Yes. Okay. So now we're gonna go and I'm gonna show you a few things about how a data architect looks like. So I might set where I have put it. Just trying to find the sketch that I have prepared for you. That architecture, analogy house, 3 types. think I lost it. Let me find. Give me a second. I'm gonna find you here something. So, do I have it here? Okay, until I find it, I'm gonna jump to another thing. Oh, I have it. Wait. I have it here. So let me grab this over here. Now we speak about a little bit, about the data architect and let's say, what are the different types. Now I'm gonna show you a few diagrams that I hope you are seeing. Let me check whether you are seeing my screen. Yes, you are seeing my screen. Let me make myself a little bit smaller. All right, so now look at this. Now the thing is, if you are new, if you are data analyst or data engineer, you are a student, you are still learning, and you start like searching about the architectures and the different types and stuff, you might get confused very, very fast, my friends, because there are a lot of different types, a lot of different diagrams on how people draw architectures. And there is a lot of, let's say, misunderstanding what is really that architecture, okay? Because if you Google and go to images and you search for, I don't know, Azure architecture or data architecture, you're gonna find different pictures. And I want you here to have some awareness about what is really data architecture. Now, here we have some random image. I'm gonna say that looks like data architecture from Azure, from Microsoft. But my friends, this is not a data architecture. Yes, we have here, sources on the left side. We have pipelines, we have storage, we have, I don't know, streaming events, consumers and stuff like that. This is not a data architecture, sorry. If you draw something like this at companies, they're gonna throw it at your face because, my friends, this is not something that's gonna explain anything for the company. This is only a vendor architecture. This is a vendor trying to sell their products for you, for the companies. So here, Microsoft is explaining for you, use my tools to do all those stuff. So if someone asks you, draw for us a data architecture, and you draw this, then this is of course wrong. Okay, so this is not a data architecture. This is just a vendor architecture. Now, if I go to the next one, now, let me just zoom out. I told you, I still have a problem with my Mac. I'm zooming out like crazy now. Let me just refresh here. Yeah, okay. Because I clicked, okay. So this is not a data architecture. Now let's move to the next one. Same thing here. You might see this picture and you say, wow, this is perfect. Look at this. We have bronze, silver, gold. We have Delta Lake. We have, I don't know, Unity Catalog, Power BI, Fabric. Perfect. If I am becoming data architecture, I'm gonna draw this one, right? This is my reference to become data architecture. Again, this is wrong. This is not a data architecture, my friends. This is, again, vendor architecture. Once you start seeing a lot of, let's say, icons about platforms and tools, then this is not a data architecture. This is someone trying to sell platforms, try to sell tools. So I saw a lot, by the way, a lot of people at companies, they say, I am an architect, and they start drawing stuff. And they come up with this picture, this is really bad. So this is not something that you should, let's say, provide as a solution for companies. Then you are just trying to sell the company tools, okay? This is bad. Now we come to the Databricks. You see here as well, Databricks have a lot of pictures and they say, this is an architecture and stuff like that. Well, again, this is a vendor thing. So once you see a lot of just icons like Spark, logos, Power BI, Event Hub, and blah, blah, blah. This is a vendor architecture. This is not a data architecture. And this is the worst. This is one of the worst that I've seen in Google. Someone as well is saying this is a data architecture. You can see here, it's just random boxes and random, let's say, tools that they throw around and they say this is a data architecture. This makes no sense. Of course you can add yeah, icons and logos and stuff, but you cannot call this data architecture. Yeah, they're gonna throw it at your face. Now we come here. This is something that I'm gonna say getting closer to become data architecture. Yeah, so I'm gonna say I like this one. Yeah, it is very high level, of course, but at least I know the flow of data. I know, all right, there is like data sources. They go to data storage. There is streaming, processing. We are doing in between machine learning. We have analytical data store and analytical reporting, and we have to do orchestration. So you can see this image from Microsoft Azure. They don't have here any, let's say, logos. Yeah, they are not trying to sell their products, but at least I'm gonna say I understand the flow of data. This is like a marketplace of tools. Like I'm not understanding what is going on here. What happens in Spark? What happens, I don't know, yeah, in DBT, and like, are we storing that? Like it's very confusing, yeah? That's why you cannot sell this as a data architecture, yeah? This one is close and we get closer, yeah? This as well, I like it because it is as well listing out what are the different sources that you have in the company. We are here speaking about the ingestions. We are speaking about the processing. We have here data cleaning, data transformation. And then it says we have here 3 layers, the raw, clean, and curated. And we have here data governance and stuff like that, yeah, and how to consume it. So my friends, this is closer, yeah, to data architecture. I just want to bring you the awareness that not everyone that go and throw through you yeah, some logos and boxes and say, now I have a data architecture from company, or you can go and take a reference architecture from Databricks or Azure and say, hey, look, I know now how to do it in the company and we can do it like this, right? You are just another guy selling Microsoft products for a company. You are not selling any solution. You are not like, yeah, this is not something that you can do, my friends. Of course, if you are discussing tools, yeah, in the companies, and you are discussing which service we're gonna use, which service and stuff. But this is something that a cloud architect gonna do, not you, not a data architect. So again, I just want to bring this awareness for you because I saw many people do that. And of course, I'm not saying it should be boring like this. Yeah, this is totally boring, yeah, to have only boxes and stuff like that. You can mix. You can start mixing a little bit to say, yeah, in the analytical, you could use, for example, Power BI, yeah? But it would be nicer if you speak more about, let's say, what is exactly the use cases, how the data stored, how the data move and stuff like that. And here, for example, I don't know whether you have done with me the SQL warehouse. It is as well here, I tried to draw for you something like close to a data architect. So you can see, we went through, okay, we have bronze, silver, gold, we have 2 source systems, and we have put here some contracts, data contracts on the data architect where we explain, you know, we are storing here tables. We are doing here batch processing. We are doing full load. We are doing trunket and insert. The data model gonna stay as it is. So we are adding some descriptions about what's gonna happen inside each of those boxes. This is what we have to understand, yeah, from data architecture. We have to understand what's gonna happen with my data inside this one big picture and not what tools I have to buy for the company. This, yeah, so I hope that it is clear for you. Now, I have here drafted something a little bit complicated, but we'll not go in details. But it is something as well like an enterprise data architect, but I'm not gonna go through it now. We're gonna stay with this. So with this, I hope you understand what do you mean with the data architecture. And yeah, it is just a way on how to explain how the data move around. Now, of course, we're gonna deep dive into how to do those stuff. It depends on the time, of course. So this is something that I want to raise an awareness about it so that you know what do we mean with those stuff? Now, what I would like to give you now, I would like to go through the mindset a little bit. Let me just have a drink of water. I hope you are enjoying what I'm trying to say. So now, of course, the question is why we are drawing those stuff. Why do we draw those pictures? Is it like just because it is a nice thing to see, or like, yeah, you want to show off how the architecture looks like? So why we draw those stuff? It's just, you have to understand. Maybe I want to go maybe switch, because I don't have anything now to say to show you. Now, of course, the question is why we draw those architectures, right? The thing is, we draw those stuff not to show off. We are not trying to to show the company, yeah, I can draw you a few stuff. We are using visuals in order to bring understanding. It's like a data analyst, right? If a data analyst wants to explain the story behind the data, they make visuals. They use data visualizations, right? They make like those charts, they make some aggregated data, and they make like bar chart and all those stuff, because they want to use the visuals to explain it. It is the same thing. We draw those diagrams for us in order to explain something through the visuals. It is first of all helping us. Yeah, I have, by the way, coffee. I have it here. So yes, it's gonna help us to understand what we are planning to build. Because think about it, like if you want to build a house and you don't have any plan, you don't have any visual, you sit with someone and he's gonna say, okay, trust me, I'm gonna make for you 4 rooms, I'm gonna make for you a kitchen, like imagine it with me, the kitchen gonna be left, right, and the guy talking to you about your house without a picture, right? Without a visual. So you're gonna start imagining something in your head, he gonna imagine something in your head, and at the end, you're gonna get something that is not maybe meeting your expectations. So that's why before we build anything, we have to draw, we have to build those diagrams in order that we communicate the plan for everyone. First of all, for you yourself. Like if you want, for example, to make a plan, like maybe you create a big document about it, but you have to, let's say, in order to bring this document for you to understand it, to draw the visuals, to draw the diagrams. So it is helping you to understand what is your plan, and is as well helping others. Like if you are meeting managers, stakeholders, or let's say non-technical people, you want to show them the plan. Yeah, you cannot just explain, you want to show them the pictures. And as well, it's gonna help everyone, let's say in the developers or let's say data engineers and stuff like that. It's gonna help them to understand what are you talking about. So the visuals, it is just a tool to communicate your plan with the others. That's why we draw those diagrams, and there are no rules on how to do it. You can make it boxes, you can make it from left to right, from up to bottom, you can make it the way that you want. There is no like how to, I'm gonna say standards how to draw those stuff. It is just instrument for you in order to communicate your plan. So there is no wrong and right, but don't try to draw only tools because it is not helping anyone. And I'm gonna say it is just a tool that's, it is just a tool in order to communicate your plan. So that's why it's gonna be our main tool in order to communicate, let's say, things. Now, there are some mistakes. I'm gonna say here, listed a few mistakes that I would like to tell you about it. I met a lot of architects around that say, yeah, I'm an architect, I'm making now the architecture for the department. And they start like, doing strange things, let's say, at the company. So there are few patterns that I have seen that I would like to tell you about. Like, for example, you're gonna see a guy, that is just discussing tools. They never discuss, let's say, the problem itself. So this is one of the biggest mistakes. If you start to think like an architect, but you end up just talking about tools. If I talk to you, you only speak with me about Power BI, Tableau. You speak about Snowflake and Databricks. You just speak about Azure and AWS. You just speak about tools. And this is one of the biggest mistakes I'm going to say as a data architect. You should speak about the problems. You should speak about the data, the flow, the company, let's say, pains. You have to speak about how to build an architecture that's going to serve multiple use cases. So I saw this pattern when you have a tool guy that is just talking about tools. Now, another thing that's a big, let's say, issue, you're going to find some architects that's not only theory, but never do any projects. And this is a big problem. So if you find yourself, let's say somehow you became a data architect at the company and you haven't done any project yourself, believe me, you will not succeed. In order to become a data architect, first, you have to be someone doing projects. So first, don't jump to this role without doing project at yourself. You should be first a data analyst. You should be first a data engineer. You cannot be a data architect that have never done projects and then just jump from the theory, watching, I don't know, maybe stream like this and jump immediately to become data architect, because this is something that I've seen a lot as well. Data architects that have no idea how things works, but they have a lot of theory. They know what is data warehouse, what is data lakehouse, and they start discussing things, but they are always, let's say, have no idea whether this is gonna work. So they only knew the theory. Another mistake that you could do as a data architect is that you don't think about the budget. You go and let's say, you see Databricks architecture, you see Snowflake architecture, you start thinking about building, I don't know, lake houses, warehouses and stuff like that, a lot of tools, platforms, but you are not taking into account whether you have a budget for it, whether the company, not you, whether the company gonna have a budget for it. So this is as well a big issue that I'm gonna see a lot of architects that they think they have endless amount of money in the company and they are ready to do whatever he says. This is a big issue, because if you don't know the budget that the company has at the end to spend in order to do your plans, you're gonna make some unrealistic plans for the companies, and at the end, no one gonna implement it for you. So that's why as an architect, always think, if I'm bringing this concept, is like, do we have enough money for it? Does the company gonna be willing to pay for it? Like, for example, if I join a small sized company, I would never ever try to speak about, let's go and build data products. Let's go and make data mesh concept. And I start like dreaming big. And at the end, the company has like few databases and that's it. They just want to do few reporting. So this is as well a big issue that I've seen. Data architects not thinking about the budget that they have, not thinking about the limitations that the companies have. So this is something that's as well a big mistake that you could do as an architect. Another one is you make over-engineered, or let's say overkill concepts, like similar a little bit about the budget, that the company don't need too much, and you start bringing, again, the company just needs some reporting and that's it, and you start bringing like big crazy idea to make a data mesh, to make lake houses. So again, you are not making, let's say, concepts that are unrealistic. So always be realistic. I'm gonna say, understand the limits of the company, understand what they need, and then design, of course, the architecture for it. Another, like, let's say, mistakes that I've seen, that you're gonna find some architects that they they draw a lot. They make a lot of diagrams like crazy. Like, for example, you ask, okay, what is the plan? And then he or she, of course, open the, I don't know, their folder or stuff like that, and they have like 10 or 100 of images and visuals, and they start like showing you multiple architectures and say, we could go this direction, and then they show you, this is last year, this is this year. So he keep drawing like crazy all time. He has like, I don't know, 10 or 20 diagrams that keep switching in between as he's talking to you. This is one of the biggest mistake I'm gonna say. For me, I worked, I think, in a project for 5 years at Mercedes-Benz. I used only one diagram, only one. And it was more than enough. It was very famous even in the company because I always stick with the same images, with the same picture, and everyone can remember it. So it gets bigger and bigger over the time, but I'm using the same fonts, the same logos, the same icons, the same shapes. I had only one. So my advice for you, don't go and draw like, I don't know, yeah, more than 2 or 1. Just stick with that and that's it. But yeah, this is as well one big issue. You see architects that they get overwhelmed. They, like, if you talk to them, they start immediately making a new sketch, a new visuals, a new charts, and new diagrams. And yeah, they get lost and they lose the others as well. There is another thing that as a data architect, especially if you are a data architect, let's say dedicated one for multiple projects, try to, you should not be biased to specific projects. Like, for example, let's say in a department we have 3 data warehouses. And yeah, because you build one of them, that doesn't mean that you as a data architect that you always try to merge the other warehouses to this one. So what I'm trying to say is you have to be unbiased about your solutions, your discussions, and try to not have a baby, not have like one, let's say, system, you try to defend it all time just because you like it, okay? This as well, yeah, goes to the second point that I saw as well many mistakes. Like, you get a data architect that, yeah, make a diagram, make, yeah, some diagrams, some stuff, and then over the time things changed, okay? So at the start, maybe it was working for, yeah, Power BI reporting and stuff, and then suddenly we are getting AI use cases, and you're gonna find this, yeah, the architect is not trying to adapt. So they try to be very defensive with their architecture, and they try to, let's say, even if it goes wrong, yeah, over the time, they still try to defend it and try, let's say, stubborn, yeah, and not try to adapt with a new word. So this is as well, I've seen some people, they make one picture and never change over the time. They don't add to it anything new. If it's not working, he gonna defend it until the end. So this is as well something bad. And this brings me to the next thing, that I've seen architects that they just draw a picture, they make some presentations, PowerPoint and stuff, and then they, let's say, leave to something else. So they just draw things and then leave, draw things and leave. So they jump between projects and they don't track what is going on afterward. Is my plan is working? It's not only you make a plan and you leave, you have to keep mentoring the others. You have to bring the others in order to implement the plan. So it is not something ends. You take the requirements, as I showed you in the pictures, take requirement, draw a picture, and then hand it over and say, okay, bye, I have to go to somewhere else. You have to stick with the plan. You have to make sure whether your plan is working. This is an initial plan. So this is as well something that I've seen. People make plans and disappear, and that's it. No. If you are the architect of my house, I want to still discuss with you things until the whole house is built. You are responsible for the plan, right? So those are some, let's say, bad things that you might do. Again, don't be the tool guy. Don't only talk about theory. You have to do your own projects. Don't be the overspender. Yeah, you have to know the limits of the companies before making a picture, and don't make things over, yeah, killed. And as well, yeah, if things change, you have to change as well your architecture. You cannot stick with it. Now, I'm gonna say we're gonna go to the next point where I'm gonna tell you a little bit. Maybe I'm gonna do it with a sketch show that it is not that boring for you. I think with the visuals it's gonna be more interesting for you, right? So let me just see how we're gonna do this. Now, I think I'm gonna go and sketch things. So we have those nodes, guys, but we are done with this. Let's go and grab something else. Yeah. Now, let's go back. So I'm gonna give you maybe a story on what I'm gonna do if I join a company as a data architect. Let's say I got hired at a company now again. I stopped making YouTube videos and YouTube stuff, and I said, oh, you know what? I would like to become a data architect in a company. How I'm gonna do this? Like what are my main activities? Like what I'm gonna do, right? So I'm gonna take in this story. I'm not really prepared for those stuff, but I think it's better to make sketch about it. Is a data architect a boring job? I don't think so, my friends. Data architect, it is, I'm gonna say a manager, it is a boring job, but a data architect, it is fun because there is a lot of communications. What is the primary roles and responsibility of a data architect? This is what I'm trying to explain now. So if you go through this with me, you can understand what is exactly what we do. Now, okay, this is Baraa. I joined a new company, okay? Let me just see whether you can see my screen. Yes, I can see. You can see it, right? So now I joined a new company, right? This is me. Now, the first thing that I would do is that I would not, I'm speaking now about an architect. I'm trying to put the scenario. I am not a data engineer, okay? Now I'm joining as a data architect here, maybe in a department, something like this, or maybe principal, I don't know. Like in between, yeah? So I'm not implementing anything. I'm just a principal data architect or a dedicated one, right? So now, the first thing that I would do is that I would never start doing anything at the start. So at the start, it's all about, so this is the phase one. I would not go and start building anything or drawing anything. I would just talk to people. So this is the first thing that I would do. And we have many different people, right, in the companies. So let me just grab something like this guy here. This person, let's say those are the technical people, all right? So, sorry, this is the business. Business means with the stakeholders, maybe the process experts, maybe people that are doing the business, right? Now, what else do we have? We have the tech guys. Let's just grab Ger. So this is, let's say, IT, all right? Or no, not IT, data engineers. So those are the data engineers. And let's get a manager or something like that. So this is a manager. And so this is IT, tech, whatever you want to call it, data engineer, whatever, yeah. Those people build things. Now, in phase one, what I'm gonna do, depend of course on the scenario, I would not go immediately and start talking to the data engineers as a data architect. I would leave it for before. So in the phase one, I just want to understand what is going on. So I have no idea what is going on in the company. So first of all, I'm gonna decide to talk to the business. So I would like to talk to the business, understand what they do actually, understand their processes, understand why do they need data, what they do with the data. Like if I give them an Excel of data or maybe access to database, what they do with it, how they work with the data. Do they have like Power BI reports? Are they doing some, I don't know, Are they using some, maybe AI tools or just using Excel? So I would like to understand how they are working with the data and understand the business process, like how the business is running. So I'm gonna pick those guys first, So talk to the business. Now after that, what I missed is actually, way more important than talking to a manager or the data engineer, I'm gonna speak with the source of the data. So data source owners, okay? So first, I understand the business, I understand the processes, and after that, I go to the data sources. Those people are responsible of generating the data. So I'm gonna speak with them about how do you store the data, how do you give the data, what are what are the different possibilities to get data from you, the size of the data, how do you store it, do you have some documentations and stuff like that. So I talk to the sources of the data that is needed for the company. This is very important in order to understand how the data is generated, how the data is stored, and how they can give me the data. Now, after that, I might go to the tech people and start asking, what do we have already in the company? How do you manage? Oh, look at this. I have here really nice images. Maybe I'm going to put this instead of this business user. So those are the business users. No. So I'm going to go to the data engineers, to the IT, to the tech, and start asking them how they manage their data. Do they have data warehouse? Do they have data lakehouse, lakehouses, data lake? What are the pains? How long it takes to load the data? Or maybe they don't have anything. So it depends really on the situation, what they have really at the company. And after that, I'm going to start talking to the manager, understand things like, maybe the size of the teams, what is the budget that we have, how much money we have for the projects, the limitations and stuff like that. So as you can see, I'm jumping between different teams and try to understand from them the current situation. I want to understand the current situation of the company as a data architect. Without this, I have no idea. I cannot suggest anything. I cannot make any pictures or stuff like that. So I need to talk. I need to interview and ask questions. And each of group, of course, needs different set of questions. Again, the business, what they do with the data, why they need it, what are the pains, data sources, how they generate the data. The managers, it's about the timelines, the budget, and the data engineers, what they have currently. Now, once I have the big picture, I will start drawing the first architecture. But this is, my friends, not the architecture of, let's say, the goal architecture. I'm just gonna draw the current architecture as a picture to say, hey, we have data warehouse. Then we have here Power BI reports, whatever. Yeah, and here we have another data warehouse 2. This is on the cloud. The first data warehouse maybe on the on-prem. So I start drawing, let's say, the current architecture as it is. And here maybe the sources, whatever. I'm not going to draw something. I just want to let you know that I just want to understand the current big picture. Now, this is the first delivery that I'm going to do as a data architect, is to make it clear for everyone how the world looks like. And I'm going to make a list of pain points. So I'm just going to say, okay, we have this and that, and I'll just make a list of all bad things that I think we should fix. And here you have to be very, very, very careful. Because if you are a new guy, I would not go and do finger pointing to others, okay? I would not go and start talking, you know what, you have done bad job, and to the others, everything is bad, and start criticizing, people. You should not do that, because everyone gonna hate you and no one gonna listen to you afterwards. You just be very careful. How do you criticize people, or let's say, how do you show the current pain point? Don't criticize, don't do finger pointing, just show the current picture about the company, and then say this is maybe not good because, and always you have to say because why. To have 2 data warehouses maybe makes no sense and stuff like that. So this is a big phase where I show them the current situation of the company and a list of all pain points. And with that, I gain, let's say, some trust, yeah, from the companies that actually I know what I'm talking about, and as well I know, yeah, what are the next steps. Now, what I could do afterwards is that I would start, let's say, checking the pain point and check what we can do, quick wins from this. So I will make like suggestions, but not the big suggestions. It's gonna be like the big wins. For example, I don't know, yeah, maybe as I'm analyzing the data, one of those platforms here, the maybe on-prem data warehouse, I found something really bad about the pipelines, and I just say, hey, you know what, if you add indexes, or I don't know, yeah, if you change this and that, you will be optimizing your data warehouse. So I will not think about the full big picture. I'm gonna go and grab some quick wins. Now, at the same time, after that, I have to make, this is what expected from me, to make something called the target architecture. So, and this is the biggest task that's, yeah, I will be doing, is to build the goal, the target, the suggestions. Okay, so I'm gonna start first with the quick wins, and with the quick wins, why I like to do quick wins as the data architect, because I gain trust. I'm gonna gain trust from, yeah, from the managers, from the engineers, and I'm gonna spend some times on it, yeah, but I will not spend, let's say, years just doing quick wins. Just since I have done the big review, I would like to get some, some stuff that are sorted. Now, a target architecture, this is gonna be a big one. Now, I'm gonna start building a second architecture, but again, it will not be super detailed one. It's gonna be, let me just here add a picture here, maybe targets, and this is here the current. Now, after I have understood, of course, the current situation of the company and stuff like that, the tools, the money, and all those stuff, I start maybe drawing completely a new picture about how we're gonna solve all those pain points. So what we're gonna do is that I'm gonna draw something new, but not super detailed, okay? So I'm gonna say, okay, we have here maybe source 1, source 2, let me just say here, source 2, and how about to make, I don't know, just like how to make a lakehouse, data lakehouse, yeah. And with that, we are consolidating those two data warehouses inside a new one. And we like save some monies and stuff like that. And we put, I don't know, a Power BI on top of it. So I don't try to build the whole thing, I build the whole architecture in one go. I would like to make small thing. Now, what I do after, once I have like something, I start discussing this target architecture with the others. So I'm gonna take this and start talking to people about it. Hey, look at this. I have here target architecture. What do you think about it? Yeah. So maybe start with the sources, I'm gonna say. So I'm gonna start with, so say I'm having this idea about building this architecture. What do you think about it? They're gonna start correcting me. Say, hey, Baraa, look, our source is not, not like you think. You should make, you should go and do incremental load. Maybe you have to go and use our APIs, and you start saying, okay, maybe once a day, so 1 day loads. And it's not like you think, So I start adding more things on top of the picture. Okay, it is an API, it is only 1 day. And after I go to the second team, they say, hey, we have actually Kafka. Do you know that? You can get my data through Kafka, and we have a real stream. And if you want to go and get our full, let's say, old data, we have some cold storage. So we have here, like, for example, some cold data storage in Plop or whatever, and you can get the full load. So I'm not trying, I'm just showing you your story, okay? So it's not super detailed. Now, so with this, I have more informations and my picture is growing over the time, right? So I know about the sources. After that, as I start speaking with the business, they say, hey, Baraa, you know what? Only Power BI is not enough. We actually really need to add AI use cases. How about to go and add AI? How about we would like to get some, I don't know, yeah, some self-service, yeah, stuff like BI. So with that, after I show them this picture, I can refine my plan, yeah? So I can understand exactly what is going on. Now, after I go maybe to the manager, yeah, or maybe to the data engineers, whatever, yeah, they say, you know what, we could get you an access to Databricks. So we can go and add, we can have a budget to work with the Databricks. So I start like maybe understanding the budget and start bringing some solutions, like maybe Snowflake here. Do I have Snowflake? Yeah. So we have money in order to go to the cloud and to pay as we go. So with that, I start like adding more options, yeah? And here, as I talk to the data engineers and they say, you know what, we could speak about having streaming, or let's say we could have like PySpark and we're working with PySpark. And over the time, my friends, my picture gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's always the same picture, but it's just like getting bigger over the time as I talk to people and understand. Now, my target picture is getting more clear. And now, of course, depends on the company, yeah? Depend on the managers and the levels and stuff like that. I start showing maybe version 1, version 2 of this, like, yeah, just for fun, okay? So I'm gonna say, how about to build a Lakehouse using Databricks? And here, other option, we could really build SQL warehouse. And I start saying, you know what? We don't have in the company like a lot of engineers. We have a lot of people that actually have only SQL skills. Going to, let's say, Spark engines and stuff like that, it is an overkill. So I start like making different versions of my target picture. And depends now who would like to discuss this with me. We start making a decision for the company. Yeah? So this is me, the data architect. Now it could be like over the time join the data officers, of course. So data officer, and join people like the security officers. And all those people would like to hear from me why I am suggesting those architectures. So they are all people that I need to justify my solution and why I recommend this, okay? So there is a lot of communications now gonna be with the managers, with all those people, explaining those stuff. And once I have the feeling, okay, this is not working, yeah, one of them, I'm gonna like remove one of those solutions and just stick with one, yeah? And once I get approval, do we have here yes or something? Okay, I don't have like something for this. Or is this one here? Okay. So once they all say, maybe I'm gonna make them green. Oh no. All right. So once they all say, okay, I'm okay with your plan. I'm okay with your plan. I get approved by all those people. What's gonna happen? That's the architecture gonna be decided, right? So this is the target architecture that we will be implementing in the company for maybe specific department, for specific team. So now once everyone accepted, yeah, the target architecture, what's gonna happen? That it is time for implementations, right? So now my next step is that once everyone approves, I have to go and hand this over to the developers, right? So I'm gonna say this is the old world, and now our job is to migrate, to do data migrations from the old world to the new world. So now all what I have to do is to mentor the data engineers, to mentor the developers on how to do this migration. So as I said, this is going to be a bad thing if I just, like, for example, tell them, okay, you know what, I got it. This is the plan. We are doing it exactly like this. And now it is your job to implement, and then I disappear, right? So this is the worst that I could do, that I just disappear from the picture and the data engineers have to do this, okay? So usually we don't do that. The data architect should stay and mentor, especially in the initial phase, on how to do the migration. You have to help them in order to do the whole, at least the first big steps. And you have to make sure that actually your plan is working, and you have to mentor them, okay? And if you see something is not working, my friends, you really have to change things. Like, for example, I don't know, the team is not able to do, I don't know, Spark development, or let's say things are getting very expensive. You have to keep reporting, to the teams, to the managers, that actually things are not working and we have to change things, okay? So maybe the self-service is not working. Maybe you are not able to connect the storage. So you keep adjusting your target plan, your target architecture until it works. So it's something living. And my friends, this one here, it's gonna live for really long time. So this target architecture, it will be, as I told you, mine lived for around 5 years at the company, and it was always the same picture that God grows, and we added each year more things to it. At the start, my architecture was with Data Factory, and we have done only modern, or let's say, cloud data warehouse. This is the first things I've done. And then over the time, I found myself, I'm building a data lakehouse. And over the time, I found myself, I am building a data product. So this architecture keep evolving, my friends, and keep changing with the demands. And it's not something that you do and you just leave. So this is, I'm gonna say, comes, of course, the question is, what is the next step? Should I stay with the engineer? Should I develop this with them? Well, it's gonna be perfect if you don't develop it in yourself, you leave it for the data engineers, or the next thing you go, I'm gonna go to the managers and find maybe other departments or other teams that are, let's say, struggling with maybe the architecture, or maybe I'm gonna go with the company and say, you know what, I would like to roll this to another departments, maybe another domains in the company, in order, to help them as well. So your job will not be end up with making only one, let's say something one for one team. You will be jumping between teams. Let me just show you here. So you will be working with multiple teams, with multiple managers, and you will be developing this target architecture for different people. And over the time, you might get the principal data architect, where you're gonna really sit down with the top managers and top people and start building the enterprise data architecture for the whole company. So this is my mindset, my friends. This is how I would do it if I get hired now, or I got I go back to doing data jobs. This is exactly how I'm gonna do it. Those are the steps as a data architect. I hope this makes a little bit sense for you. I hope that you have some understanding what this role means. And I totally agree with you that we can take a break, because next we're gonna switch about, I believe, we're gonna speak about theory and some data concepts. So we're gonna start again, what is a data warehouse, lakehouse, and all those stuff. But I would like to focus with you next about now the best trends. What is a data product? What is a data mesh? And this is exactly what each company is requesting from data architect, but not only that, as well from data engineers. So next going to be very relevant. we're gonna go through the concepts. So all those data stuff. But I would like to take a little break, maybe refresh water, and I will be back in 5 minutes or something like that. I hope you're enjoying the stream and the stories make sense for you. But yeah, I will be back in 5. I don't have music, so if you have music, you can put it in your own. Yeah, we are going in break, my friends. Dun, 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 dun. So I hope that you refreshed for the next phase. Yeah, I am back. We have some questions like, let me see. The most difficult thing that I have met during learning data skills or building projects. Learning data skills. I think the most confusing part for me was learning the data modeling at the start. I really didn't understand why exactly, like, especially the data vaults and the data, the third norm form and stuff like that. So was data modeling for me really struggling at the start. Building the projects, big struggle is, of course, I'm gonna say, for me as maybe project lead, or as a developer, I don't know from which perspective. I had like many roles, but I'm gonna say the biggest thing is try to explain your ideas for business non-technical people. This is gonna be your hardest things in your projects, because to be honest, as a data engineers, we are always behind the scenes, and people don't understand why are we there, So if I am data analyst, everyone understand, I'm making Power BI, I am getting some highlights. But as a data engineer, if I met non-technical people, it's gonna be like, I don't know, it's gonna be really hard to explain for them what I do exactly in the project, why we are building data warehouse, why we are building those stuff. Especially if you have managers that don't have technical background and they are funding your projects, it's gonna be really hard to explain why we are building those stuff. Maybe they are now in the session here and they understand now. But I'm gonna say communications with non-technical people, especially if you are a data engineer. Let me just bring some questions here. Do the data architects design the schema, the data relations, and stuff like that? Yes, my friends. As you can see, I showed you in the statistics, actually, many of them are asking for data modeling skills. Now, I'm gonna say they will not module the physical world. They might module at very high level, the business objects and stuff like that. So yes, we might design data modeling as a data architect, but at very, very high level. We will not go into details. I have the feeling that I am a data engineer, analytical engineer, data architect, data scientist, and this and that. Like, give me to improve. Okay. This is the thing is that, once you enter a company as a data engineer, you might end up doing, I don't know, as a BI developer, building Power BI reports. The job description is about, building pipelines, but you are doing Power BI reports. Or you are doing, as a data scientist, you are doing data engineering stuff. The thing is, it's still in many companies, it is not clear definitions about those roles. People, maybe some, I don't know, companies want to make data-driven things, but they still struggling understanding those roles and how they hunt for people and what they need exactly. So you're gonna find a lot of confusion. They're gonna make data teams, and at the end, the business people just need few Power BI reports, and that's it. So it is confusing. I saw at least 3 data scientists. They learned everything about data science. They have certificates. They went to the university, and at the end, they do data engineering stuff. So yes, you're gonna learn all those stuff, but you have to adapt. Even if you are data architect, like even if I got hired now as a data architect, and the job is requesting from me to do some data engineering stuff, I don't mind. I'm gonna do those stuff. I might do the first project, then hand over and those stuff. So this is about the data world. It is not, there is no clear separations. There's, people just do some job descriptions, they hire people, and then at the end they request you to do other things. But I think over the time, things gonna be more, there will be more understanding. As I got hired, I was doing everything, really everything. Project lead, data engineering, data analyst, data architect, all those stuff. But yeah, over the time, people get more mature and they start understanding those roles. But we need still some time. I explained what are the differences between a data architect and principal one. You can go back in the recording. Now, I will go back to the topics I'm gonna say. So with that, you have now some understanding, right? What is a data architect? It is about communications. It is about understanding the requirements. It is about making a plan. And you can do all those stuff only after you have some experience. You cannot, as an entry job, just learn data architects and architectures, those concepts, and enter a company. You need some experience, and it's all about communications, understanding requirements, making a plan, communicating back, convincing people about your plan. You have to understand the trade-off between what is the data lake, what is the data warehouse, and what is the trade-off, understand the business and what could be the best fit. So it is a lot of soft skills, I'm gonna say. And if you master it and if you learn it, or let's say start as a data engineer and you start thinking like an architect, you're gonna get an amazing career. Believe me, this is gonna be, companies are hungry for those stuff. So if you start bringing this mindset as a data engineer or analyst, and you start drawing pictures and you start building those stuff and start having a plan, discussing trade-off, understand the requirements and stuff like that, then you are a good architect, but it needs years. Yes, the record's gonna be alive. Now, with this, you have understanding about the mindset I gave you. Let's say, what are the mistakes and how I think if I got now hired, what could be the phases, the steps, and all those stuff. Now, next, what we can do is, I'm gonna show you again those statistics. And there is like two options that we could do. I'm thinking about it actually. Again, those are the data concepts that are requested from you to have knowledge about it. What is data modeling, data governance, data management, data warehouse, ETL, data integration, and those stuff, right? So those are all concepts. And to be honest, all of those stuff are very relevant for you, whether you are an architect or an engineer. I could, maybe next time, I should have brought here the data analyst as well, but believe me, they're gonna ask you to have some of those skills. So now what I could do is to deep dive into the core concepts that we could have, like for example, the data warehouse, Lakehouse, and the data lake, and then start talking about, I think there is something very important, is the data products. It's over here, the data products and the data mesh. Let me go back to the platforms. Yeah, the data mesh. I think this is something that's, we don't have a lot of content about it, right? I think many of you knows what is a data lakehouse, what is a data warehouse, but you have some, maybe there's like some content about those two things. I would like to maybe deep dive into them. So now I'm gonna go through a few concepts. We're gonna start talking about a few of those stuff. Of course, sketching, understanding. I will not develop anything now on live, and those are basic understanding theory for you in order to work maybe as a data architect or engineering. And maybe at the end, I'm gonna bring like one big picture about how to draw a data architecture, okay? So, I'm gonna say, we're gonna go through those stuff. Let's go. Let me go through again here. Now, I would like you first to understand maybe quickly, let me see whether you can see my screen. You can see it. All right. So now the first concept that you have to understand, my friends, everyone, you should understand what is an ETL. I know many of you knows this, but maybe I'm going to open your eyes on it better. So now the whole thing is we have a source and we have a target. This is always like this. A data architect or architecture, you have sources, you have your target, and you have consumers. Now, of course, we have to understand how to bring this data from the sources to the target. Now, the first thing, we're gonna write a script, my friends, that we're gonna call it extraction, where it could be, yeah, by the way, it could be in SQL as well, it could be in Python, whatever the language. All what we have to do is first, we have to write scripts to extract the data that we have. So we are just extracting the data from the source, but it's not yet loaded, right? So it's just extraction. Now, after we extract the data, now here you have two options. Either you're gonna load it in the target, or you say, wait, I would like to change a few things on the fly. So we're gonna say, I would like to do transformation. So the extraction did this. Now the transformation gonna pick few informations and manipulate it. So for example here, I don't know, instead of the couple case, we're gonna have lowercase. This is the transformation. So now the data looks different than the source, right? I have done data manipulation, I have done transformation. Now after that, the data is ready, right? So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna write another script and we're gonna call it loading. And it has one job, is to take this data and load it to the target. I'm loading the data. This is just the basic concept, right? So this is exactly what do we mean with the ETL. I extract, I transform, and then load to my target. A target could be, again, yeah, it could be a data warehouse, a lakehouse, a lake, whatever, yeah? It could be anything, even another database. And those scripts, it could be anything, yeah? It could be SQL, even Power BI, by the way. If you go to Power BI and do Power Query, you might do an ETL. So this is just a process, a concept, and it is not like only thing that you can do in SQL, Python, or Databricks. It is generic concept. Now, this, I'm gonna say that was the first way we have done things. Then, over the time, we got customers where they said, you know what, let me just say bring. So data, or let's say, to be more modern, AI engineers. And they said, hey, what are you doing actually? This is not what I need. This transformation that you have done to the data is not good for my AI. My AI want to understand exactly how was the original data from the source. Now I cannot go and run the AI in the source. I would like really to see in the target the original data. Don't do your transformations on top of my data. So that's why over the time we found out actually ETL, it is something not that good, because on the target, in many scenarios, data scientists, AI engineers, we would like to have the raw data. That's why we stopped doing the ETL and now we do something called ELT. I think you understand what I mean, but it's only for people that's first time here. So ELT, we said, we're gonna do the same thing, but a little bit differently. We will remove the transformation in the middle and we will just postpone it and do it later. So we're gonna do extraction. Let me just remove this as well. So I would like to extract the data, load it, and then directly load it in the source. Don't do any transformations. So with that, the AI engineer is going to be happy, right? So they can say, right, I have my data. But of course, we need, let me check. Where is our data scientist? Do we have a data? I'm going to bring her. She's our data scientist. No, data analyst, sorry. Data analyst. But of course, data analyst is going to say, hey, I would like to have the data transformed. It's not prepared. I cannot use it for my Power BI. That's why we data engineers, we're going to go and build transformation. Let me just get this copy. After we load the data one-to-one. So with that, we have 2 copies of the data. So after it lands, I make the transformations. And this is, my friends, what we call ELT, extraction, loading, and transformation. And that's all because in our target architecture, we're gonna need different versions of the data for different type of people. And this is the whole story, to be honest. Once we go to the data mesh, the data product, it's always like this. Over the time, things get more complicated. Now, this is again, let's say a concept, okay? This is a process. Now, in reality, things looks like this. If I take maybe this one here, in reality, if you build the architecture, you're gonna end up seeing this picture that you have multiple layers. So they have the source, and then you have layer 1, and you have then layer 2, layer 3, layer 4, depends on what you are doing. So you're gonna have a lot of layers, and between each layers, you will be end up doing, again, where is this? Yeah, here. You'll be doing this process. So at the start, you might do EL, I extract and load. Then after that, I do TL, I transform and load it somewhere else. And then over the time, you can find yourself doing this. Yeah, so you're gonna end up making EL, TL, TL, whatever, yeah? And maybe another system gonna come to you, back to you and say, I'm gonna do an ETL from you or EL from you. And then they continue. So in real world, things get crazy. Yeah? So this is exactly what we mean with the ETL. But to be honest, I don't use it a lot. I don't, like in the architecture, I don't have to say, now I'm doing TL or ETL. It is just a process name. People say, we are doing ETL process. That means I'm extracting the data, transforming it, and loading it. Now, with this, you understand, what those words means and how the real words looks like. So this is the basic concept that you have to understand about, how we move data and what we do with the data between different layers. Now, we're gonna go to the real data architectures. Now, what do you have here? So in the strategy, you can see, or where was it? Platforms. Now you can see they are asking for things like data warehouse, lakehouse, data lake. They expect you to have those understanding. And as you can see, still dominating the data warehouse. And that's because, my friends, many companies need just the data warehouse. They don't need extra stuff. I know Lakehouse is more advanced and stuff like that, but we have many middle-sized companies or small companies. They don't need these big lake houses. It's very dramatic, of course. So that's why if you can do data warehousing, then you're gonna cover, let's say, many companies with that. But now I would like to take you through those three and then extend it to the data mesh and the data products, because it is like the next levels. Now, let's go through it one by one. So with this, we covered, as I said, the ETLs. Now, let me see where I'm starts so things don't get crazy. I'm gonna take this frame again. So I'm gonna start again here on white paper. So what is the issue, my friends? Why do we have those systems? So we have always source layer. It's always start with the sources. Source. Yeah, you're gonna find a lot of typo. So we're gonna have like source 1, source 2, and usually they have databases, okay? This is the classical things. Most of the sources are databases. And now what happens at that? So things start like this. Maybe you have, I don't know, 3 databases. Now we get those people. Where are they? They are the data analysts. And they like to do reports using Power BI or whatever, okay? Now, the thing is, those sources, their main job is to build applications. They store the data behind, I'm just searching whether I have here an icon of application. Do I have something? I don't have really an icon for application. Application? No. App? Oh, whatever. So I'm gonna take random thing, an app. Now, those are transactional systems that they just focus on the apps, okay? They just store the data, they have transactions left and right. They are OLTP systems. Now, that was the main idea. You have a website and you have a database behind it. And this is what the companies do, yeah? Now, suddenly over the time, we have those analysts. They say, you know what? The business, they have questions about, I don't know, they are asking how much sales do we have? What are the pain point? What are, like, how much money we made? Like, compare the last year with this year. So they hire this data analyst and they have to, analyze the data. And they go to the same database and they start doing that. Now, this might be okay if you have like one, but over the time, if you start having a lot of analysts and a lot of people doing big SQL queries on top of those, my friends, those databases are going to be very slow. And if you have a slow database, then you're going to have a slow application. So this is going to be a big issue if you let those analysts go to the databases and start doing big SQL queries. They're going to make everything slow. And by the way, those analysts, since they access the raw data, they're going to have as well bad numbers to the business. So your business, let me see, I had like some business people here. Where are they? Where are they? Those. So those are the business people, and they're going to get wrong numbers from those three analysts. So this is the old world, okay? This is something that's, works maybe if you have one analyst and one Excel, but if the company gets a little bit bigger, this will not work. That's why we said, stop, we don't do this. We have to build a data platform. Now, a data platform, it's like this. Usually we say, let me just prepare those stuff. We say, okay, go away, you and your Power BI reports, and leave us alone. Now, we're going to get this engineer. This engineer. Ideally with a data architect. That has some data architect skills. And we say, you know what, we're going to go and extract one copy of the data and build the data warehouse. Now, we're going to extract all those stuff once using the ETL. Again, we have this ETL process. And we build something like a pipeline. Yeah, we put here pipeline and how I'm going to do the ETL. So let me just make this E. Is it big enough? Yeah, okay. So ETL. So ETL. I do the ETL into a warehouse. Let me just say out data warehouse. And there are going to be like 3 layers inside the warehouse and stuff like that. You know what? Let's just do it correctly. I'm going to do it correctly. So data warehouse usually have something called stage, then a core, and then marts. Yeah. So we're going to have like three steps. And we do the ETL, and the marts gonna be my friends. So the whole thing is the data warehouse system. And from the marts, after we do the ETL and stuff like that, only then join our data analyst. So the data analyst gonna start using the marts. Usually in the marts, we have star schema. Data model, yeah. Usually we have here inside like a data model like this, and they access it and start building the Power BI reports or whatever analysis they have. And now since we have done the ETL only once, the numbers gonna be better from those reports. Now, the whole thing, as I said, this is something we call a data warehouse. Now, data warehouse, there are like two ways, or let's say two names for it. Either if you build it inside, I don't know, yeah, the on-prem. Yeah, this is on-prem. On-prem means the company has their own servers, their own data center. They buy the servers, they buy, I don't know, yeah, those big super machines, and they connect it with the networks in the company, and it belongs to the company. So that means the data engineer gonna go and yeah, maybe buy a server or a request for a server from the company, and starts installing, let's say, the warehouse inside it. This is what we call classical warehouse, classical data warehouse. I'm gonna say most of the projects, they do this. And usually we do this inside, yeah, do we have a SQL warehouse here, SQL server? No, we don't have a SQL server. And usually we do it like, yeah, in SQL Server or in Oracle. Let me just close the door, just a second. There are some noises outside. So yeah, so they do it inside SQL Server. By the way, we have done projects in the channel about how to build such a classical or SQL data warehouse, and usually you can do it completely in SQL. You could use other tools like, I don't know, for the ETL, like Talent or Informatica and those classical things. But this is usually the classical things that we have done for 30 years. Now, over the time, you might say, let's go modern, more modern. And this is what I've done. One project at Mercedes-Benz, I transformed their warehouse from the SQL server to the cloud. So now we put it in the cloud and we use tools, I don't know, yeah, like Data Factory or Azure, if you are doing it in Azure and stuff like that. So you move your SQL warehouse from the on-prem to the cloud. And this is what we call, like in the theory, a modern data warehouse. And that's all because you are using the cloud. So if you hear about, okay, now we are doing a modern data warehouse, that means this company is just moving their warehouse from the on-prem to the cloud. Of course, you can do it, yeah, you can even do it in Databricks, yeah, or Fabric or Snowflake, whatever the tool, yeah. But the main idea is just moving the data from the sources to the consumers. And I put it like into 3 layers. Now, I'm gonna explain more about those 3 layers because I would not now focus on the warehouse itself. Now, once the company gets a little bit bigger, that means they get more sophisticated, they get more advanced systems and stuff like that. If you go to the sources, let me just group this, group. Now, if you go to the sources, they will start saying, you know what, I will not give you an access to my SQL database because now we offer the data only through Kafka. We are doing data streaming, okay? So they're gonna tell you, let me just remove those stuff. In order to access my data, you have to go to stream, to real Kafka. And this is, of course, a big issue for you. Or they start offering their data through APIs. And they say, hey, no one access my database. We offer you only APIs. Yeah. And you're gonna start seeing sophisticated, yeah, let's say sources, or maybe they're gonna start giving you those unstructured data or semi-structured data like in JSON, yeah, or yeah, maybe you're gonna start like maybe loading some images. That means as the companies, yeah, get more sophisticated, you're gonna get more advanced source systems. So your source layer getting really hard for you as a data engineer. Now, if you just stick with a warehouse where you have only a database, this is going to be a nightmare to connect. And at the same time, not only your sources are changes, your consumers as well. I'm going to call them consumers here. So consumers. Your consumers as well becoming more advanced. So the company is going to start hiring maybe an AI engineer. Or let me see here whether I have another crazy figures. Maybe bring this one back. Or they're going to bring a data scientist. So you're going to start having different type of consumers. And even, guess what? Even the business user is going to come to you and start saying, hey, I'm really interested as well in the data warehouse. So those people, if they start joining the consumers, your data warehouse concept going to fail. So that means over the time, if the company grows, your sources are getting more complicated and the consumers are getting more complicated. That's why, by the way, why the data engineers and data scientists cannot work with this, because my friends, you offer only star schema at the end. You offer only this star schema where you have the fact and dimensions, and no one can consume this. So the data scientist cannot work with this. The AI engineer, the same thing, cannot consume your marts. So they're gonna say, I need the data as it is. And this is all because you are, my friends, are doing those transformations. It's all because of the transformations. So it's all because the engineer is deciding how to change the data. Yeah. And we change the data because of the analysts. We would like to clean up the data. We would like to prepare it in a shape where the data analyst can immediately start doing their analysis on top of data. But this transformation that we are doing inside our pipelines in the warehouse, it is destroying the data for other roles, okay? So the other roles are not able to consume it because of this. So that's why data warehouse cannot work for data scientists, AI engineers, for, let's say advanced source systems that are not structured in the tables and databases. That's why we moved to another concept, which is, now this is the big movement, to something called the data lake. So in data lake, what we have done. So this is the data lake. In data lake, the data engineers gave up and say, you know what, since you really need the raw data, I would not do it. I would not do the T. I would not transfer anything. And you have to do it in your own. So that means the data engineers start, let me just make it like this. I think I have like shape for data lake. Just a second. Yeah, something like this. And they said, you know what? I'm gonna bring everything, extract it from the sources, store it in, let's say, sheep storage. Like this. So I will start throwing everything I can touch here and put it inside a data lake. But I would never change it. So I would not transfer anything. I just do this. By the way, I have done this in Bosch, one of my projects. Of course, it requires more skills. You have to start coding. Not SQL is not enough. You have to do Python. You have to learn about how to do things in Hadoop, maybe Spark. So you're gonna get, let's say, more advanced on how to do this EL, alone the EL, but the storage is gonna be very, very cheap because you are not storing in databases. You are just making the lake. Now, what happens is that AI engineers were happy about it. Data scientists as well happy. But what happened is that those analysts, they have to do the T. they have to go and build their own transformations. They have only, let's say, like this. So those analysts now have the task to do the T. All right. So, and guess what? This is one of the worst things that you could do. That's why data lake concept did die. And I'm going to say still the data warehouse is more stable than building a data lake. It's all because we said, yeah, I'm going to give you the raw data as it is, very fast, very cheap, but you have to do the rest. So, and this is very expensive because sometimes if you have sophisticated source systems, this might take a lot of time. This might take, I don't know. Yeah, I've seen one source to transform it. It took around 3 months. So this can take really long time until you prepare the data. Preparing the data going to be a nightmare. And every single new data analyst join the data lake, they have to do the transformation from the scratch. So this is deadly for data analysts. And I'm speaking about transforming, not like, for example, cleaning up the nulls, removing things, like simple things. I'm speaking about sophisticated things. They have to learn how to go with the JSON formats. They have to learn how to transform the format that you are getting from Kafka, from APIs, yeah? So it is highly, complicated formats that you are saying for the analyst, you have to take care of doing, the consuming of the Kafka topics. I'm just gonna take the data as it is and put it inside the data lake. That's why for those people, they were happy about it. The data scientist, engineer, the data analysts, it was catastrophic. And to be honest, it was not working. I've seen this. After building the lake, we spent maybe a few months, and then we have seen the struggle that happens to the data analyst, and we went back to the data warehouse. I don't believe really that you could do data lake in big companies. You should do something else. Either build a normal data warehouse, or I'm gonna, of course, take you to the next solution, which is the Lakehouse. But I still think really the data lake is amazing for AI. Because AI, I'm doing a lot of projects now, like on my own. The more raw the data is, the better the result is. So since we do the transformations, I see that, we are restricting so much AI use cases. So that's why, since now we are transitioning, to AI, maybe the data lake gonna get, bigger and more important. But for now, most of companies, they want reports. Most of companies, they want to know what is the status. They want to do Power BI projects. They want to analyze the data, and you cannot go and build a data lake. And this is, of course, again, we come back to the architect's role. You have to understand, as an architect, you have to understand your sources and your consumers. If you see you have a lot of data analysts and you have only one small use case about AI, and you suggest data lake, you're gonna destroy the whole, setup, That's why you have to understand, as a data architect, the level of complexity of the sources, the level of complexity of the consumers, and suggest an architecture. So you cannot go with this setup. We have a lot of analysts and say, hey, I know we can build a data lake, which is modern and cool. Who builds a data warehouse, right? I don't know. It's only old style things. So, and then you destroy all the consumers, So that's why you have to understand. Now, my belief in big companies, it is a little bit getting straightforward, where we are merging those two together. This is something that's data. Let me just tell you something. Now, the warehouse, it's like theory came maybe from universities and from people that do concepts and stuff like that. It was not a vendor. A vendor comes and say, hey, let's let's go and build a warehouse. Same thing for data lake. It was theory first. People discussed it. People wrote books about it. So people as well discuss it in the universities and stuff. But now this is the first time a vendor is like suggesting, let's say, the next phase, which is one of them is Databricks. Databricks came and say, you know what, let's go and merge those two together into one system called the Data Lakehouse. So what you're gonna do, let me just grab this image. Just prepare it a little bit. And we're gonna get the warehouse. Oh, so now they said, okay, we have modern data warehouses and we have the data lakes. And the idea is very simple. Let me just remove. Oh. So the idea is very simple, is to convert the data warehouse into a data lake, but we still maintain those organization of the stages. So that means, the data gets still cheap to store, but still you have to do the layering. You still have to do the ETL. So the data engineers, sadly, got back this big T again. So the data engineer should do again the transformation, but they do the EL first. So EL and then T. Okay. So now they have again this task where they have to do the T again. But they do it like afterwards. And Databricks said, or let's say in the medallion architecture, they said, okay, this is gonna be a bronze, silver, and gold. And they gave it a name called Data Lakehouse. Of course, everything in the cloud, you can put it in either in Azure or AWS. And let me just bring a few stuff. This. So they said you can do both. You can still organize your data and you can still do the transformation. And then you offer the data for different people from your lakehouse. Like for example, your consumers, the data analyst, is gonna be happy again because finally they are getting the transformed data. So the T is back to the engineers and the analysts can be faster, and the data scientists as well are happy with this because they still can access the bronze and silver. Same thing for the AI engineers. So that means, my friends, now let me just move this. Now, with this, we have like different, I'm going to say data products, or different qualities. This is what you call the medallion architecture, where your data going to be offered into different qualities and depend on the user, they can access it. And of course, since this is a lake behind the scenes, they still very cheap storage. You can always go through like images, you can through JSON, you can through Kafka streams inside it, and still the raw data exists inside. And we still have the gold, which is very simple for data analysts. So with that, we fulfilled, let's say, all requirements for different type of consumers. And I'm gonna say this is since 3 years ago now that we have something called the Lakehouse. And this is the first time that I'm gonna say offered by a vendor. And I see it for now, yeah, one of the best architectures that you could offer for big companies, because for sure in big companies you have a lot of data scientists, you have a lot of data engineers, AI engineers, data analysts, and since as well now Databricks are bringing more SQL, you can offer as well some access, yeah, for the business users in order to consume the gold layer in a very simple way, so they can like consume the gold, consume the report in Power BI getting from analysts, and with that you are combining the data lake with a data warehouse. But of course, again, it's the same thing as a data architect. Not because data lakehouse is the latest concepts. It is the latest, let's say, modern things to do. You're gonna offer this by default. Like you join a company and say, hey, you don't have yet a data lakehouse. This is all crap. Let's go and build the lakehouse. And at the end, the company is very small. You know, they have only 1-2 databases, and this is gonna be an overkill. This you're gonna do only if you have a lot of sophisticated sources, and I'm gonna say different type of consumers, and only if the company can pay for it, of course, because to make this, you have to pay a lot of setups, and you have to pay as you go. You are in the cloud, and you have to understand that is as well comes with a price. Building a data warehouse, with your own servers, or maybe with the small clusters and stuff like that, still way cheaper than building a lakehouse. So now, by looking to this, I'm gonna say, most of big companies, they're gonna move to this picture, where they are building a data lakehouse. Mid-sized companies and small companies, I'm gonna say, building a data warehouse, a modern one, or even on the on-prem, it is more than enough. Okay, more than enough, because they might not have all those stuff, they might not have all those big requirements. They have only 1-2 analysts, and the world is easy. That's why I'm gonna say it's always the job of an architect to understand what is going on in the company and offer the right solution. I would say I would rarely see someone offering a data lake. Like I would, if I join a company, I would not do this again. After I've done it once, I would like just skip it. Like only to make a lake for data scientists or AI engineers, it is too much. Maybe data lakes comes back once AI gets stronger. And now if you are a data analyst, don't hear me, close your eyes and close your ears. If over the time this gets replaced with AI and we have back only AI engineers and analytics is done completely by AI, we might go back to data lake, but I don't see this yet. So I still think we need to prepare the data in a clean way. We have to prepare it only once. And I still think we have to do the T. Now, of course, the story didn't end here. I'm going to introduce a next level of complication where this is not more enough, where we're going to speak about a little bit about the data strategy on a company, which is something that you might hear a lot, or it's required from you to have understanding about the data strategy of companies as an architect. Now, I hope that you are enjoying so far the stream. I'm gonna need another break, like maybe 5 minutes break. And then we can speak about the next levels. What comes later gonna be the strategy of the company and how things gonna get out of hand, out of control if you just make like lake houses. But for that, I'm gonna need a break. So we're gonna get, first of all, I hope that you're enjoying the stream. I don't know, I'm not seeing a lot of chats or interaction from you. I hope that this is not that boring topic from you. I know this is not, we are not talking about SQL and stuff like that, but it is a very relevant topic for you to hear at least. Even if you are new in data world, just alone hearing about those terms. If you join a company, you can hear about those terms. People are speaking about ETLs, data lakehouses, data lakes, and they are start discussing things. With that, you understand those terms, and even if you got interviewed, you can answer, what is ETL, what is ELT, what is now, we can speak about the data mesh, the data products. So you get, as a data expert, more into the data strategy of companies, and maybe you start thinking bigger, right? That's why it is very relevant for you. It's gonna, maybe open your eyes about your career. And if you are planning to become a data architect or you are already a data engineer, those stuff are essential to understand. Because if you don't know how to think like a data architect, you might do a bad job. That's why I think all those stuff are relevant for anyone that is here. And we're gonna have 5 minutes break. Sadly, I don't have music. Next time, if I make another live stream, I'm gonna bring music. But we're gonna have 5 minute break. Be right back. All right. I've seen that it is getting late for my friends from India, right? I'm really sorry for that. Well, it's gonna be hard to find the perfect time. Like if after like I've done some checks, I think this is the best time for me to start 5 p.m. Otherwise, it's gonna be very early for many people. So I hope this is not too late for some of you, or maybe we can do it in the weekends. But yeah, if you are going to sleep and you are from India, then sleep well. And the record, of course, gonna stay in YouTube. But if you're still here, you are welcome, of course, to ask your questions, to stay in the live stream. And I'm checking by the way, your chat. So I have now teleprompter and I can read everything. So if you have questions, feel free to do that. And yeah, if you like this content, don't forget to support the channel, right? And yeah, to like and share and to show some support. Let me check a few questions. Yes, it's gonna be available. So I will not delete anything. It's gonna be in the live section in my channel. We want data engineering course. Okay. So back to data architect and data architecture. Are you guys enjoying this so far? So I keep sketching, or do you want me to give stories? I think sketching is fun, right? So it's not that boring. Now, the thing is, maybe how I'm going to transition to the next step, because it's going to be a big one. Now, the next step is, I'm going to be honest with you. We data engineers, data analysts, whatever the name was before, we were not that famous at companies, okay? The famous people are the people that are building, I don't know, apps. They are they are the software engineers. Those are the people that are really famous, database administrations and all those stuff. We were, let's say, people that are for the luxury stuff or nice to have topics. And we had like the least focus from budgets and all those stuff, because they think many companies, I don't know the situation, of course, in other countries, but I went to many companies here in Germany, but we were always something nice to have. But something happened in the last 4 years, which is AI, of course. The companies understood that data is very important to not only for the analyst in order to make data-driven decisions, but as well it is very important for the AI. And over the time, they are like, let's say, more budget for the data workers like us, and more focus about, now we need data engineers. We need to get our data out from the sources and put it somewhere in order to do more analysis, more AI stuff on top of it. And let's say there is like, the companies are wake up and understood how important are we, data engineers, data analysts, and all those people. And we start getting more attention, and more budget. That means we start getting a lot of projects, I remember this phase, of course, as I was at Mercedes-Benz. I started getting, I had a warehouse, maybe Lakehouse, few sources, few customers, and we are living our life. But over the time, we start getting more and more use cases. We start getting more budget, more focus, because the company want to become data-driven and AI-driven. That's why suddenly we start getting a lot of requirements as a data engineers, and a lot of requirements on the data lakehouse. Not only me, of course, everyone else. Of course, the platforms was not prepared yet, because Databricks was only offering like, the PySpark things. They had some, meta stores, and they had not yet like even SQL engine. So it was like, let's say, it was enough at that time. But over the time, we have understood we are getting a lot of requirements and a lot of attentions, and as well platforms like Snowflake, Fabric, yeah, Databricks, they start as well understanding this issue. And the companies understood as well that they need a data strategy. Like, it's not enough to have one very good data engineer or a few data architects, and they still like, let's say they are like building some lake houses left and right. They start discussing at the top level at management, not only in Germany, in many countries. They start discussing how to make a data strategy for us, how to make, let's say, what is the best platform that is suitable for us. So the data discussions moved from the lowest level, which is us, start moving to the top. And moving to the top, man, that means there will be more organizations, there will be more, let's say, standards, there will be more regulations, there will be more focus from the security, from auditors, from different aspects. That's why our data projects, whatever that you had, start getting more attention. And this is a big transition for our projects to the next levels that you might hear if you enter any company, that they are discussing things like, we're going to offer the data as a product. We're going to offer the data as, let's say, in the data mesh ecosystem. We need, like, I don't know, marketplace for the data, and a lot of, like, let's say, terms, new terms. That's why now I'm going to take you into this world about what is going on now in companies where they have like data strategy and how things is getting bigger. That's why now next we're going to speak about more, about the governance, about the different designs that companies are going through. And we're going to go back to the sketches, of course. So I'm going to share again my screen. Let's go back. Just to check, is the voice clear, right? Are you hearing me, or should I move the mic a little bit away? Let me know. So let me just get a few things before we start. Okay. Voice very clear, which makes me happy. Now, what happens? Now we have to make chaos so that you understand me. Now, okay, this group of people are funny. So over the time, what happens is that more people start consuming. And this is getting very chaotic. You are getting a lot of sources, you're getting a lot of customers, a lot of requirements, a lot of wishes, and your lakehouse is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and the whole I don't know why the size is not getting bigger. Maybe like this. Yeah. The whole system is getting bigger and chaotic, and many people want things from you. And my friends, it is almost an impossible job for data engineers to understand all those new systems that are joining, and as well to talk to all those people. So you as a data architect or a data engineer, you're going to be jumping between those people, understand the requirements, extending the lakehouse, building more things, and it's going to be a nightmare. And this is all because of the strategy of the company. That's, we call it here, if you leave it like this is the centralized strategy, which is one of the worst things that you might do. So what is going on here? That's, you have centralized solution. So, and what is happening is we having, let me just grab this here. So we are having a lot of consumers, okay? And that's all because you decided to say, I will do the whole thing alone. I'm going to make the central lakehouse for the whole company. So, and, let me get this guy. And, 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 Those guys. So yeah, I think with this I can explain it. It's all because you said, I'm gonna build the whole thing for the whole company. And your consumers are just consumers. They are not doing anything. They are just consuming the central. Yeah. And you are taking all domains, like the company has a lot of domains, right? So the sales, the manufacturing, the after sales, the finance, everything. You are like vacuum machine that is bringing everything to the center. So what's gonna happen? You're gonna explode. You will not be able to maintain this team and you will not be able to do the work. So what you could do is that you start giving up few of your lakehouse to the others. And this is what we call, let me just take you. So this is, I'll just put the title on it. I don't know why I'm not able to make the text bigger or something. So this is the centralized solution. Now another solution, if you say, you know what, we're gonna be the hub for only the bronze and silver. We will build for you. I'm gonna bring, well, where is the Lakehouse? So I will be bringing the bronze and silver, but the gold, come on, it is something really hard for me to do as a data engineer. So what I'm gonna say, I'm gonna clean up the data for you. I'm gonna make it in a shape which is easy to consume. I'm gonna make it not anymore files. I'm gonna make it as a table. You can consume it by SQL, but the final one, the gold, this data model, you have to do it on your own. So what we can do is that we can go to the strategy that says we are hub and spokes. Now, you say, okay, we're gonna give you some engineers or a data analyst or whatever, and you do your own thing. I hope that I can copy this, yeah. So we will not do any more gold. We're gonna do only the silver and bronze. So, and as well the reporting thing, it's gonna something happen at your side. So at the end, it's gonna look like this. Each team, each spoke, have people that are just doing the gold and everyone else is consuming the silver. So this is a little bit better, right? This is a little bit better than the centralized. It looks like centralized, but things are a little bit more moderated. In order to make this looks nicer, should I do it like this? I think I should do it like this better. So just to, looks like hub and spoke. So sorry for that, but just for you to have the shape of hub spoke if you saw it somewhere. So we can have centralized team, my friends. I've seen this, by the way. I've seen this in one company, but this died as well very fast. They said we're gonna make centralized team. They gonna bring all the data of the company, the whole data into one place. And they gonna bring the data in a good shape. So they gonna do small T's. They will do the cleanup process for the companies, okay? But making a data model out of it, do we have a data model? Do I still have a data model? Ah, yes, here. So, but building your reports, building the final data model that you need, it's something that you're gonna do it on your own. All right, friends? So those engineers, they will not, in the center, they will not talk about your use cases. They will never meet those, I don't know, the business users. They will never meet anyone outside of their central team. They just get, maybe the spokes, so let me just move this guy here. The spokes come to the central team and say, hey, you know what? I would like to have more 5 new sources. And they say, for sure, we're going to do it for you. And they extend the bronze and silver. All right? But they never speak with the business, the central team. The central team has nothing to do with the business because those engineers, they will not develop the final product. They are just doing, let's say, the middle things. Yeah, I hope you understand what I mean. So this data strategy, my friends, called hub and spokes. So let me just get this one here. Hub and spokes. All right. And I've seen this. Maybe some company can adapt this. This really depends. Like, it is not a bad solution. They have a central team. They can do the middle steps, intermediate steps, and then everyone else gonna do the last steps. Now the thing is, still, this can explode. I've seen, company hiring army of data engineers because here they have army of source systems. They have over 1,000, I don't know, databases. So this central hub is getting really a bubble, and that explodes. So it is still not working. That's why the last option for them, not the last option, but another option is that to say, you know what, no central team at all. Everyone has to do his own job without a central team. So the central team dies. We don't do it anymore. And each team gonna build their own data lake or data warehouse or whatever, yeah? So, oops, sorry. Now. So, every team gonna make their own stuff. And by the way, it should not be always the same thing, yeah? It's not always the Lakehouse, or maybe one team doing data Lakehouse, the other team is doing a data warehouse. And how we split those teams, by the way, maybe I didn't speak about this, which is very important. We split those teams by domains. So this is domain A. This is domain B. By the way, those discussions that I'm now discussing with you, it's something that can happen at the top tier, okay? Like, don't expect that if you got hired as, I don't know, as a data architect in a small team, that you will be discussing those big concepts. It's only if you get to the upper layer, because those people has to put the data strategy. Now, I'm just trying to explain for you the data strategy, but still it's something that you have to understand as a data expert, right? I just want to say those discussions on those designs, it's not something that's going to happen at the lowest level. Yeah. So, all right. I'm just checking the chat if there's like questions, or maybe I lost you guys. I don't know. So, let's continue the story. So we have here domain B, domain C, and so on. Do you know what is domains, guys? Because this is very important words. Domain A, B, C, D. All right. So a domain, it could be, as I told you, maybe big section in a company, sector, like as I said, the HR could be a domain, the sales could be a domain, or it could be like a process at the company, specific process. They call it a domain, like the process of engineering the cars, the process of manufacturing the cars and stuff like that. So we could split the domains by processes or by the organization of the company, because usually the company is already split into those domains. So that means now this is awesome. This is really awesome if you split it by domains, because we engineers, and data architect or like any data experts, we're gonna get a lot of domain knowledge about only one thing. Now, in the old picture here, we have to have a knowledge about all the domains of the company. Like getting the domain knowledge, it takes really years of one domain. Guess like how this can be really hard if you have to understand all domains of the whole company. You will never be able to do that. Maybe after retirement or something like that. So that means by splitting by domains, it is a perfect thing because finally the data workers, data analysts, engineers, whatever, they can focus into one domain and they can learn it very well. Once you know the domains, you can understand the pains, you can understand how they work, what are the questions that you get. So splitting the data world into domains, it is one of the best things that now companies are doing. It makes everything better, everything more clear, no more chaos, and we are at the end human, yeah? We are not able to understand everything about an old company. Like I spent 8 years at Mercedes-Benz and I have learned only 2 processes in one domain. I was not able to learn the whole thing. It's almost impossible. So that's why no way the central gonna work or even a hub could work in big companies. So now this is something we called federated. That means everyone gonna do their own work. And again, as I said, they don't, they make lake houses, they make lakes, they make warehouse and stuff. Now the thing is, the story is not at the end because we still gonna need stuff from each other's. Now, if you are making a report about the sales, you might need few data from the other domain, but you would not need everything, okay? So you might need subset of data from other domain. That's why we might start connecting the lake houses together in order to just load enhancement data. So that means there will be some movement between those domains and some interactions where we exchange data between those lake houses. But again, the domain here, if it's a sales, it's going to be the dominating domain that makes reports about the sales. But they might start need data from other departments like the manufacturing. That's why, my friends, what's going to happen with the federated is we start exchanging data left and right. All right. So, and this is something that is not really cool because it's going to bring again the chaos. And what happens is that, I don't know whether I have here some auditors or something like that. Let me just check. I really need like new figures for the auditors because they will not be happy with this. I don't have one, but now let's bring an auditor. Now an auditor gonna come for here and say, hey, what are you doing? How are you, like, how you are managing the security of your data and where this data come from? So the auditors of the company, they can start questioning. Maybe I'm gonna add here a text so you understand what this is. So, or a security officer or whatever, yeah. So someone that is check the compliance of your data. So bring forward group, yeah. All right. So you might start get audited and say, hey, let me know which data you have inside and how do you do the transformation. So they're gonna start like auditing the solution. And if you don't know, and over the time, things might get out of hand where you have the sales data, you have the manufacturing, and everything gets like mixed up. And the numbers here start getting different from the numbers on the left side, because here as well, you start doing sales data analysis. Yeah, let me just say sales. And as well here we have sales. So we don't know anymore where is the truth if you exchange data without having a clear, let's say documentations. So The same editor gonna go as well to the other team and start asking a lot of questions about the data and stuff. Not only that, the consumers, you might have start like cross consumers. They're gonna say, but your data is something different than the data from the other domain. Both of them are showing the same data. So it's gonna get lost if we start sharing data between cross domains. Now, what's gonna happen is that there's gonna be need for the big question to say, who is actually the owner of the sales data? So they're gonna ask question, who is the owner of the sales? That's why each domain gonna start promoting someone says, you know what? I am the PO, the product owner. We call it data product owner. We're gonna promote someone from this domain. It could be from the business, it could be from anything, and say, hey, you know what? I am the owner. Can I make this smaller? So we're gonna promote someone from the domain and say, hey, I am the owner of the sales. And only me gonna accept anything about my data. So it's not anymore, because before, if we go back to those pictures, you're gonna feel who is the owner of this Lakehouse. The owner gonna be the engineers. They're gonna say, if you want my data, I'm gonna allow you to go to gold, to silver and stuff. So usually the engineer is gonna decide who gets what. But in modern companies, it's not anymore the engineers. It is the responsible of the data, or the data product owner, the data owner of the domain. So if someone comes and says, hey, I would like to get your data, I'm from domain B, the engineers will not go and say, yeah, for sure, why not? Go and get the access to the gold. No, the engineers say, you know what? I'm just a technical guy. You have to go and speak with my product owner, data product owner. So we can have like an owner for the data that understands why do you need the data and what are you doing in the reports. So we're gonna start getting some new responsibilities. I hope this makes sense, because now it feels like I'm playing games. All right. Yeah. So I'm just explaining the story, why we have like, we are getting those new crazy roles. So that means we start making for each domain, for each data, the owners. Yeah, this is a new rule. It's usually promoted from the business, okay? From one of those consumers or something. And they're gonna be responsible of giving the final okays or not. Now, there is another issue. There is another big issue with this, with the federated. I'm trying to give you step by step how we go to the last phase, okay? Now imagine you are a data analyst or a data scientist or whatever. You get hired. You get hired to the company. You are new. You are excited about your job, your role. And yeah, someone came to you and say, hey, I would like to have a report about specific topic. Yeah. Now, if you are not assigned to those domains and you come to this picture here in the middle, and you're gonna get totally confused. Like, where I'm gonna find the data to build this new dashboard, this new report. Now, you might start like exploration phase journey and start talking to those people. Hey, which data you have, and start jumping between those domains until you understand where are your data to make your use case. Again, not everyone is assigned to domains. Yeah. So you will start like asking people around, where should I find the data and stuff like that, which is really bad. Now, the idea is to say, to make everything is clean and let's say, yeah, it's clear who is offering what we're gonna do, we're gonna make centralized. We are back, yeah, to the hub a little bit, but this time this hub is a marketplace. marketplace. Yeah. So what do we have in the marketplace is the following. Everyone gonna announce, let's say, their products. Okay. So everyone gonna announce their products into central place. Say, hey, I offer the sales data. Hey, I offers the HR data. Hey, I offer the finance data. Maybe not arrows. Sorry for that. Yeah, arrows. Okay. So the dotted arrow means not the data gonna move to central place. This is very important to understand. The data gonna stay at their places. Yeah. So it stays at domain A, it stays at domain B, it stays at domain D, and so on. It's just we're gonna make one gigantic catalog about the data into central place. And this is what you call. Do we have a catalog? Let me see. It's bad. Sorry, I just I would like to bring a shape or something. Again, sorry, I'm not that prepared, but yeah, I think I hope. Ah, look, I I even have my cup. Look, data with Baraa as a shape. So let's put it here. One of those engineers is data with Baraa. This is my brand now for some reason. So do we have a catalog shape? My friends, I don't have one. So I'm gonna leave it as it is. So it is a marketplace where everyone announcing their data. I have the sales, I have 5 tables, I have 10 tables. So it's like bazaar. Now it is very, very cool because the data analyst, they just go to the marketplace and read it. And they can understand, okay, the whole company, how many data do we have? How many tables, how many domains, how the size, without doing this journey by visiting each of those domains. So without running around in circles to find the data, they're gonna go to one place, and my friends, she gonna find the data fast, and she gonna understand, in order to make my reports, I need I need the sales data, I need some, we need another arrow. Make green. I need this, I need that, I need from this, and I'm gonna be able to work. And this is not only for the analyst, as well for the AI engineer, for any new projects happen in the company, we know where the data is. So, so yeah, so this is why we're gonna need a central marketplace. Central place. By the way, this is not anymore federated. I just introduced you to the data mesh. This is the data mesh. It's not anymore federated. Things are going to the middle. So a data mesh is no more central team doing the whole thing. Yeah, this is very clear because we have federated. We split the data by domains. Each domain, they're gonna do the whole thing alone. We gonna have data as products. That means we're gonna have documentations. I'm gonna explain more what is data as a product because it's way more than that. But we're gonna have each domain, they're gonna make a catalog about their data into central place, the marketplace. They're gonna document it. They have a product owners. And everything is like systemized and documented with high quality and all those stuff. So the data mesh concept says, again, physically, each domain gonna have that data. They're gonna own the data at their own place. They never go to the central place. They never go to the hub. They never go to the central lakehouse. They're gonna stay at that department, at the domain. Physically, okay? Physically gonna stay at the domains. But we're gonna make a virtual place where the whole metadata of the whole company gonna be described, so that if auditor comes, they can read the marketplace. if a new developers comes to the company, they're gonna go to the marketplace. If any new data use case happen to the company, we start from the marketplace and understand it. Is that clear so far? Nice. Can you please? All right. And my friends, this is not only the, okay, I'm gonna make my cup bigger. And this picture, it is not only the companies that understood it, who understood this as well? It's always the Databricks. They are very, very up to date with all pains of companies. This is amazing, really. I'm not trying here to sell anything, okay? I'm not sponsored or something from Databricks. I'm just trying to say here, Databricks came and understood, oh, companies are moving to this. And how about I'm gonna offer something similar to this. I would like because Databricks stopped us here. Let me just take the icon. Now I'm breaking a little bit the vendor, okay? But it is not that important. Now Databricks at the start stopped at here and said, hey, you can make Spark, you can make Lakehouses, it's the best thing, and they start selling this like crazy. But they saw this is happening. Companies are making multiple Lakehouses left and right, and they're gonna need something called marketplace. And now, if you are learning Databricks, you're gonna understand the origins of the Unity catalog. Unity catalog is made for this, is made in order to make data mesh concepts, in order to make domain-driven architectures. This is what we call domain-driven. You're gonna hear a lot if you go as an architect. People are making domain-oriented or domain-driven architecture, and this is exactly what we mean. At the data world, we say data mesh, and now the vendor, Databricks, joined this picture. Now, this is exactly what they are trying to sell for the companies, which is what, yeah, I have some doubts about it, but it's working, but not for big companies, yeah? Like, let me just explain that's why 2 years ago, I was making my projects, and then suddenly I've seen something called catalog. Yeah, the catalog, yeah, the Unity catalog. They introduced the Unity catalog. Who knows the Unity catalog? Do you know what is Unity catalog? Yeah, let's see. Anyone here is learning Databricks? Or everyone now sleeping? To be honest, I'm not checking how much viewers do we have. Or did I make the chat very slow? I have no idea. So how much we have? Oh, we have 300 people are watching. Wow. I didn't expect this. I think we reached like 400 or something. Now we have 300 are here. Yeah, I'm gonna share those sketches if you want. I don't mind at all. Oh man. So now. Okay. Now, Databricks had something similar like marketplace, but it was not a marketplace. It was just like, how can I explain it for you? It was just a database catalog for your project, just only for you, for your project, okay? And they called it the Hive Meta Store. This is legacy name. You will not find it, but I'm just telling you the story about it. They have like some kind, yeah, it looks like a database, okay? You are looking at the Unity catalog, but it was only for you, for your projects, okay? And they switched the whole thing to a marketplace. So you see here, it's called My Organization. Well, maybe in big companies, it's going to be like, yeah, the company's name. And you will be able to browse not only your projects, but you're going to find as well all the catalogs of the whole company. Now, I cannot show you the example because I have here only one example. So imagine here, I'm gonna see inside my organization, maybe 30 catalogs, the sales, the after sales, the manufacturing, and all those stuff. So that means they made this local catalog that is available only for a project, they made it only visible for the whole company. And this is what suddenly I was like working, to be honest, this happens to my project. I was working at my project and I saw only one catalog. This is my catalog and I'm doing the silver, bronze, gold, and I'm building the warehouse. And then in the next day, I was not following the news. I opened my catalog and I saw 200 catalogs. That's all because suddenly I'm able to see the whole company catalog. They turned each local instance or each local project into like a global catalog that is available for everyone. So everyone was able to see my project and I am able to see everyone else's projects. So that means here, if you are working in Databricks, this is the Unity catalog, my friends. And with that, we just, I don't know, I think they did cost them a lot of work. They just turned the local catalogs that each project have into a global one, and they solved this issue with the data mesh. And that's exactly why we have now something called a Unity catalog. This is exactly the reason behind it. They want everyone to be able to access everyone, or let's say everything should be visible for everyone else. All right, so now there is still issue. The thing is, the vendor, they are trying to sell us this idea, which is amazing, I think. But this is gonna work, I'm gonna say only if everyone is working in Databricks, right? So if everyone is in Databricks, this is gonna work because they're gonna share their stuff to the middle, right? Now, if a company gets, I don't know, sophisticated and they do things outside of catalog, this is gonna be challenging to make the Unity catalog as a central place. They try, it's like there's some workaround and stuff, but it could work, of course, but if the company have like on-prem solutions, if one domain is not working at all in the cloud, if other is using, I don't know, Azure, we have Azure stuff, Fabric, if the company is not clean about that platform strategy and they allow multiple platforms, then sadly, this will not work. That's why in some companies, if they are big enough to say Databricks is not enough for them, they have to make their own catalog. Like at the end, I'm gonna show you a few examples. I have made some with Claude. I'm just prepared a few visuals for you. I don't have here a catalog icon. Let's bring this here. So the company should then develop their own marketplace for this. Okay. So my friends, this is very cool to understand what is a data mesh and how our data is turning into something called products. Okay. So it is not anymore this picture where you have central data engineers just prepare the data and give it. The world is getting bigger. We are getting a lot of new things. We are focusing only on domains. We have the product owners. We have a marketplace for data, and we are transitioning to this domain-driven architecture, which I believe it is like, I'm really happy with this. It's like one of the best, I'm gonna say so far, best practices on how to do it. I love to have the idea of having the metadata into, I lost everything. No, here, I thought I've lost everything. I love, oh man, yes. Okay, I think my PC or my Mac is giving up. One hard refresh, solve the day. Okay, so slowly. So yeah, okay. So again, I love this idea to have the metadata stored into one place, and as well to have the domains spread it around. Don't store anything centrally for big companies. It will not work. And yeah, those discussions again happens at the elite level of the architect, the principal architects, and let's say the big managers, the data officers, and stuff like that. So it's not something that we decide at our level, but if you hear about it, if you join a company or something that they are doing domain, you should know about this structure, and it is relevant for you as a data analyst and stuff like that. Now, I have built some fake marketplace for you to see it, at least on this, to have some feeling what this means. Yeah, again, thanks for Claude. I can make a lot of fake things now. Where I have prepared it? Marketplace. The marketplace. So let me show you. I don't want to show you only sketches. Oh, come on. Now, welcome to my fake marketplace. So I've made this, not me, AI made this for me. So it can look like this. It is a shop. You enter as a data analyst, you enter as a data scientist, whatever, and you would like to know how your data looks like. By the way, I'm not bragging or something. My data products at Mercedes-Benz was #1, the highest consumed data product in the whole company. It was all because the quality that we added, and yeah, I was really proud of it because we had like really huge team, 20 data engineers in my team. I was the project lead for that, and as well leading the project. And we got like, it's really competition at the end. You have prepared data products and you make really like, it's gonna be your baby. You're gonna feel, I want to push on the numbers. I want to be the best data that I'm gonna provide in the company. I want to make sure that all the customers are happy. And I was lucky as well to be in very important domain. That's why, yeah, my data product at Mercedes-Benz was #1. And yeah, of course, if the company implemented looks like this, they're gonna have like, it's similar to the Unity catalog, but it's fake one. So you're gonna see the numbers of how many, who are the highest consumers. And then you're gonna say, okay, this is the vehicle data. Those are the other domains and the other data products that are offered, the HR and all those stuff. And you as a data analyst, you have the luxury to sit back and say, I would like to get the vehicle sales. So you enter this data product. Now, usually you have to see a lot of descriptions about the data product, okay? I'm now explaining for you what is the data product, okay? So I know that the question, you don't know what is exactly data product. So a data product, it is something, first of all, described. So now you can see, okay, this data product has 5 tables. It's all about description, okay? And it has an owner. So for example, here I see the owner, the business owner of this data, and I know how to request it. And I know which team did build this data product. So I can contact the technical team. And yeah, I can see some other metadata. Usually we see as well the contract, about the data contract. This as well, you might hear about the data contracts. It is like, for example, me as a data engineer, I'm gonna commit to something. I'm gonna say every day, my data gonna get refreshed at 2 a.m. and I'm gonna put it as a contract. So that means if I bring my data into a marketplace, I have to write down the data contracts, or maybe to fill the requirements that I say my data gonna refreshed every day, my data gonna be streamed data, my data gonna be, I don't know, once a week, and something like that. So that means developing data, it's not finished by just cleaning up the data and that's it. You have to have a data owner for it. You have to have a data contract for it. And now once you say, okay, this looks good, I go and request the data. Now, of course, the request of the data will not go to the technical team. It's going to go to the owner of the data, the product owner. Yeah. And they decide whether you're going to get the data or not. You have to explain why you want to access their data. Now, after that, you can drill down, of course, in the data product, like for example, going over here and start saying like more details about the data. You can see, okay, how many rows, how many, like what is the size, where it's located, when last time refreshed. So a lot of metadata. And you're gonna see now that maybe of course, we are moving now to the data products thing, that the data on the left side, right? Everyone knows it in Excel, in table and stuff like that. But on the right side, there's like, I don't know, yeah, add-ons, like you are explaining the data, you are adding more flavors to it, you are giving more context to the data. Like for example, the very, very obvious thing that we could add to the data is the metadata. Do you know what is metadata? It is the data about the data. So on the left side, it is our data, right? So I have the customer ID, the name, the email, this country. Yeah, this is your data. But on the right side, the metadata, it is just a description. So the customer ID has the data type integer. It is not null, and it means customer has an ID that never reused. The full name is the first name and the last name. So here I cannot see, like, for example, my name or any other customer name. I'm just saying description. Metadata describes my data, describes the structure, okay? So, and it could be anything, not only the table name, not only the column name. It describes like the size of the data, the format, the location, yeah, when it's last time updated. Now, those informations, now, yeah, we are getting to the metadata concept. Now, those informations that we have, it is not only important anymore for the human. Of course, if you are data analyst, if you are data engineer, you're gonna need those informations, because now you have more understanding about the data. Now, without a metadata, what could happen is that you're gonna see the data and you have to explore it to understand the content. But as a data analyst, if you look to the metadata, you're gonna understand immediately what is going on, what is the content. So it's always nice to have descriptions, yeah, for the tables. It's always nice to have descriptions for the columns and stuff like that. So that's why metadata is very important for humans. And now I just go back to the talking head to explain for you. Metadata, it was before a luxury thing that we do. If I am data engineer and I have enough time, I'm gonna go and make a metadata in order to let you understand my data. But now it's becoming even more important than the data itself, because we have AI. If we don't have metadata, AI gonna go to your data. Like, this is one of the hardest things that is now happening. Data and AI, it's something, I have my opinion about it, but it is something that is not working very well. Because if I send an AI to my data without any context, and you understand in AI, context is very important, what can happen is that the AI might target wrong tables. They might do wrong joins. They might, I don't know, select different tables that has nothing to do with your prompts. And that's all because if you are giving, let's say, no context at all about your data. That's why, my friends, we data engineers now, one of our main jobs, not only to transform, prepare the data, but as well to add the context, which is at least the bare minimum is the metadata. Now, the metadata gonna help the AI agents and the AI to be more accurate with your data. So that means if now AI, let me just make my smaller. Now, if the AI have the data on the left side and as well the metadata on the right side, it's gonna be more accurate and gonna understand the context of the company's data. That's why, if now I'm back to projects, my focus on generating metadata for my data product is gonna be again, way more important, maybe even doing data quality. Because most of the use cases that I'm going to get as a data engineer over the time going to be AI use cases. And if I don't provide the metadata, the AI use case is going to fail. So it's going to be central job for us to add in our pipelines, to add a perfect metadata. And I can tell you something, you don't have to add it manually yourself. You could work with the AI in order to automatically generate those metadata, but we cannot go completely out of the pictures. This is a different discussion, but I'm just saying that we're going to use engineers as well, the AI, to generate the metadata using the company's documentations and PDFs and stuff. And the AI going to reuse those stuff in order to answer questions, okay, accurately. Not only that, now you're going to hear about the data products, or people are building something called Semantic Layer. How I'm going to explain this? I have like a picture for this. Now it's getting interesting, right? I'm prepared. I'm not that, yeah, I came with a few stuff. I have to find this out. I had a really good example to explain this. Marketplace. We had the marketplace. Give me a second. I'm going to find this example for you. Are you enjoying so far the session? Is this something new that you didn't know before? By the way, if I made a nice application here, maybe I can sell it, make new data platform, concurrent for Databricks. I'm gonna call it, I don't know. What to suggest for a new platform name? Databricks, data. I think we can build easily data platforms now. Okay. Now, do you see this? I think I have to maybe move myself. Maybe here. Here. Yeah, maybe like this. I'm not important. Let me just make me smaller. Baraa pricks. Okay, so now. The thing is, look to the left side. If we prompt the AI and say, okay, how much revenue with that we have? Now the AI gonna have the metadata, okay? Gonna read it, gonna understand it, and then make some kind of SQL query and give you a number. So it's very simple. This is just aggregating the sales, right? So it's gonna go and said, okay, how much revenue? This looks like a revenue. And I'm going to use it in order to aggregate the data and get the numbers. Now, the thing is, this is maybe Baraa bricks, yeah? Brick by brick. Now, I don't know whether you heard about the logo scandal in USA, brick by brick. Now, if the AI don't have any, like, have only the metadata, it's going to go and make the aggregation correct. And then we're going to get the numbers. But now things are not that simple at companies, right? Because we have a logic. If you are a data analyst, you understand exactly. It is rarely that you're going to do such like very simple aggregations. There is always so much context to the numbers. There is always some filters. There are some big SQL queries and stuff like that. Now, how are we going to tell the AI about it? That if you want to calculate the revenue, you have to use other formula. And this is by my friends adding a semantic layer on top of our data. Semantic layer is very simple. It's just, I don't know whether you learned Claude or not. Semantic layer, it is like you are giving a skill, or you are giving like, you are explaining for the AI how to calculate the revenue correctly by adding a filter, because it makes no sense to find the revenue for all the orders on the table. You should always filter by the delivered, only the status. We have status like canceled, we have status that is, I don't know, yeah, that is not yet approved, stuff like that. We as a company, we say the revenue can happen only for the orders where the status delivered. Now we have to put this information somewhere for our data products, so that if we talk to the AI, by the way, not only AI, for the human as well, for the Power BI docs calculations, for anything. If we add this nice information to our data products, now if any kind of consumer comes to my data, they know exactly how to calculate their revenue. So it is just a calculation. I'm just describing how to use my products. Got it? So metadata alone, it is not enough. Metadata alone, it's not enough. We have as well to add semantics, and semantics, if you hear it, I know that's like it sounds yeah, very confusing or something like I don't know, yeah, rocket science, but it's very simple. I'm just adding how to calculate things on my data products. Once you add this piece of information, now my friends, AI gonna be happy, gonna calculate the numbers correctly. If a data analyst comes to you and say, hey, how I'm gonna calculate the revenue, you don't have to go and explain for them how to calculate it. You say, everything is described in my data products. So that means if you have a data product, it's not enough to describe the data product itself. You have as well to describe how to calculate the numbers of my data products, how to do calculations. Like what is the total customers? Yeah, you have to count the distinct of the customer ID, how to find the new customers, and so on. So you add formulas, you add calculations, very simple calculations. Now, if you do this, then AI can do this correctly. If a data analyst comes to you and say how to calculate things, you don't have to say anything. You say, go and read the semantic layer of my data products. And once they read it, the data analyst, they can go and do the aggregation correctly. With this, we are protecting our confusion. If we, like guys, if we start exchanging data between each others, right? And we put the semantic in the middle, then if we make two reports about the sales, the numbers gonna look nice because both of teams are using the same calculation type. If we don't put this information in the marketplace or in my data products, one team gonna calculate it without a distinct, and another team gonna calculate it with a distinct, and a third AI tool will calculate it totally different. So it's gonna be chaos. That's why if you are developing data products, you have to add the semantic. And I'm not saying here for each small thing you have to go and add the measures or the metrics. I'm gonna say only for the major, most important things that you think people gonna keep calculating this all my time. Like if I have a customers table, what people gonna calculate on my data product? They're gonna find the total number of customers, right? So this is very simple. So that means if you are offering data, you have to give metadata. This is the bare minimum now. You have to add some semantic on top of it. And now it comes data lineage. Now, data lineage, it is as well, I'm gonna say, a third level of giving context to your data. This is especially important for the auditors. And like I'm gonna say, even for me as an engineer. So now the auditor, where is it? Here, the auditor. Now they're gonna ask you where the data come from, where the data goes, and how you do this, how you do that, where, like, show me the flow and stuff like that. Now, if you tell them, you know what, go to the marketplace or go to my data products and you're gonna find it. Now, instead of asking you all those questions, you're gonna say, my data product has a data lineage. Data lineage, it's all about say where the data come from and where the data goes. Okay, like where I get the data from, what are the sources, and who consumes me. So for the table customers, it's very simple. Look at this. I have a product called dimension customer. This is my gold. I have two consumers consuming my products. Someone is building a dashboard called sales dashboard, and there's an AI agent that is consuming as well my dimension customer. Dimension customer in gold comes from the silver customer. The silver comes from the bronze table called customer rows. And the bronze comes from the source system called CRM, and they call it like this, CRM.customers. So now the auditor gonna come and see the whole knowledge, the whole lineage, and they're gonna understand exactly where the data comes from and who consumes it. And with that, they're gonna prevent having data leaks. They're gonna prevent having bad issues. And yeah, I will be fair. The data lineage is not only for the auditors. It's gonna be as well good for everyone actually, even for you as a developer. If you know how the data flows inside your tables, you can find weird things. You can find bad, maybe strange things inside your ETL. You say, why this table customer comes from different table? So you can use it in order as well for you to discover issues in your data flow, or the data architect can as well use it. So I'm going to say data lineage, it is really useful for everyone. And to be fair with you, I think we have all those stuff as well in Databricks. Let me just go to gold. So if I go to any table and then go to the lineage, I have a lot of things. I've been experimenting so much things. So yeah, you're gonna see the lineage as well in Databricks. Look at this. I think it's better than what I've shown you. A little bit more complicated. So it shows you in the data lineage how the data flows from the sources to the next tables, okay? So you can see it in Databricks. And as well, you can add those semantic layer. I have added here some semantic layer as well on top. It's called measures. So if you go to the tables in Databricks and you create something called metric views. Yeah. So it is the metric view. This is the semantic layer that you could add on top of your tables. You can find your details, permissions. Yeah. So this is exactly what I'm talking about. Those are measures, or let's say semantics on top of your data products. But again, this is only if your company working in Databricks. If things get mixed, you need my product, which is Baraa bricks. You'll need my central. I have to sell this. I have to sell this. So if you have multiple data platforms, you're gonna need like some third-party stuff. And of course comes the last thing, which is the data contracts for your data products. This is, again, I think this is too little. You have to say who is the data owner, how you refresh the data. And as well, very important, data contracts. You're gonna explain as well how often your schema gonna change. Like, is it the schema frozen? Like, is the schema changes over the time, all time? Do you have like new columns? Are you renaming things? How stable is your schema? How stable is your stuff? So a data contract, you could have, like, it's a contract between, let me just go back to this picture, you understand me? Oh man. So, this image is getting crazy. So let me just clean up a little bit. Auditor, go out. Now. So what is a contract? If one engineer says, I need data from Lyft, this is the other engineer, okay? So they say, I need your gold data for some customers that I have in my domain. So they're gonna ask for data. Of course, they have to get approved from data product and stuff like that. But this engineer gonna say, I'm making the whole system depending on you, on your system as well. So if something breaks, by the way, this is something that not only in data mesh, it's like between system and system, you make a contract where you just explain, this is the contract. You just explain stuff about what is the expectations of your data products. So you say, you know what, if you want to consume my data, you're gonna understand my schema changes a lot. You're gonna understand I refresh my data once a week. You're gonna understand if data goes down for a week, I don't have enough team, let's say, to repair it so fast. So you have to pair with me maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks until I repair the data. So it's just a contract where you fill it with all, let's say, things that you can commit on. Now, if you see the contract and say, okay, this looks good, I don't mind, then you consume the data. Or you say, the contract is really bad. I cannot make my Lakehouse depending on this Lakehouse. That's why you say, okay, this is bad. I will not connect anything. So a contract is very important. This is commitment between two systems, sorry. And they can use it as well to make for you problems. Like if you say, my commitment in my contract, I'm gonna load the data once a day, and they noticed the domain B that you refresh the data once a week, they can come to you with the contract, say, hey, you said that you refresh the data once a day. Why you are doing it once a week? So if you write down things inside the contract, you should be responsible of it. So it is amazing to put a contract. And as well, it is something that we do, by the way, not only in the data mesh, we do all time. If I go to the original source here, if I want to connect a new source, as well, I try to get from them, like gonna have here the source system responsible. You're gonna ask for a data contract from them in order to connect the data. You say, okay, I'm gonna access your data in order to build my data warehouse, and I need to have a contract with you. This is very important, by the way. And as well, this is something that data architects as well have to check the contracts between the systems. Yeah, so it's written commitment contract between two systems. It could be source system to data lakehouse, source system to data warehouse, lakehouse with lakehouse, whatever. But you have to add it to your data products. So that leaves us with this, my friends. Now, in the modern days, let me just check whether everything is working. Yeah. Now, in a modern day, my friends, you don't just offer the data. Let me just hear talking head. Now, that means, my friends, offering the data now in the modern days, it's not only you're just gonna give someone access to a table. You have to add on top of it a lot of things. The metadata, the semantics, the data lineage, the data contracts, and who is the data owner and all those stuff, who can speak about, who can access what, and all those stuff. So things getting more and more complicated in enterprise companies, and that's all because we are getting more attention over the time. We are getting more use cases, we are getting the AI, so we are not anymore those casual data experts that runs only for nice to have project at companies. Things are getting serious about data, and that's why as well, things are getting serious about how we offer data. This is exactly what we mean with data products. This works in the data mesh ecosystem. So I hope this makes sense for you. I hope if you understood, I know we went to a level of enterprise about, it's not something that each data analyst must know, but if you enter the serious or big company, you're gonna start hearing about this. And now I give you some backstories about the data architects. Now, if we go back, because I think we have to wrap up a little bit. If we go back to this, I think we have covered many topics, but One of the topics that I wanted to cover is the data modeling. I'm sorry for that, but I think I'm getting tired. It's better to continue other day. So now if you will look to the requirements, yeah, now we have some understanding about just let me switch. So what is the data strategy? Yeah, what is the data architecture? What is the data products? What is the data mesh? What is medallion architecture? You have heard all those stuff today. Data fabric is not. Those stuff we didn't cover. Data governance. What is the data lineage, right? Let me just zoom in a little bit. I don't know whether you can see those stuff. All right, so what is data lineage? What is a metadata management? This is exactly what I showed you. What is a data catalog? What are the data contracts? Now, if we go to the platforms, we covered everything, right, my friends? So data warehouse, the lakehouse, the data lake, future store, partitioning. Partitioning, it is like for performance optimizations for data engineers. Future stores, it is something for data analysts, scientists, for AI as well. The modeling, sadly, I didn't cover anything for you. Now, but we have covered the first one, the semantic layer. So we know what is semantic layer. I would like to explain for you data vaults, all those stuff. I hope in another session. In the integration, now you know what is ETL. Data integration, maybe if you heard this, it is part of data modeling, but it's all about you are getting many source systems. It's all about you are getting many different source systems, many tables. And since you are bringing everything into one central data warehouse or data lakehouse, you want to learn, or let's say you have to do data integrations. How I'm going to bring those different tables from different sources into one table, maybe into one source of truth. So that's why it's all about how I'm going to connect those different shapes of tables into one integrated table that could be used for analytics. Like if I have, I don't know, yeah, two sources. One source is giving me the customer information, another one as well giving me the customer information. They use different shape of customer ID or customer keys. And if I bring them together into one flat table, they will not work. I have to do a lot of work in order to make them fit. I'm hitting the mic. But this is type of data modeling, but yeah, I just wanted to explain for you what this means. Now, data modeling, as I said, it's not covered. So data integration, data pipelines, I think everyone knows. This is, yeah, the things that we do. Streaming, data ingestion. Yeah, I think those stuff we didn't talk about it. The ELT, so you know what is ELT. Event-driven data migrations. You have heard about it a little bit about how we migrate from one system to another. But yeah, so with that, I think I'm happy that we covered, or just at least I gave you some sounding about all those terms that are requested in the ad jobs or the posting from a data architect or a data engineer. But I believe if I extend it to data analysts, same topic's gonna join. So I'm gonna think about maybe extending this, not now, maybe in another stream. I would like to show you how I draw live. Like I would like to show you one requirement and then how I go from requirement into data architecture. But I felt that this is very relevant for you to understand those buzzwords that we have. And yeah, so I think we need another live stream. It will not be tomorrow. I'm sorry. I would like to have it tomorrow, but I have some plans. But what I'm going to say, I enjoyed it so much explaining for you those stuff. I hope that you enjoyed it. And if you have, of course, any questions, make sure to leave it in the comments. And I'm going to say, if you like those stuff, support the channel. Don't forget about that. I still have seen in my channel like more than, around 30% only supporting and consuming my content. So make sure to support the channel and all those stuff. I would like to give you some stuff maybe if you're still here, I'm gonna let you know a few stuff that I'm doing now. I'm going full into AI. What I mean with the AI, I have a lot of experience about data engineering and all those stuff, the data architects, and I'm still seeing the AI is not suitable at all for data. It is full of garbage currently. And I'm trying to push now the limits, and I'm learning as well how to use Claude, how to use different AIs in order to help you as a data analyst and data engineer to do high-end level projects. I'm not speaking about toy project and toy AI, I don't know, download here those skills and you're gonna be the best, I don't know, data analyst and those stuff. I've done like more than 12 projects. I bought more than 10 accounts from Claude, full push, full farming, let's say, of, pushing the limit about data and AI. I'm gonna be publishing a lot of things about data and AI, but it's not gonna be the garbage, let's say, content about, the top 10 prompts or install this and you're gonna get those stuff. I want to do it serious. I want really to give the right, let's say, answers, or let's say the right skills, the right things that you could use in Claude as a data engineer, as a data analyst. But I have some standards, so if I don't reach it, I would not give you crap. That's why I'm doing a lot of things, but I cannot yet publish it for you. First of all, there are some people stealing the content, and as well, I don't want to give you things that are half true. So that means there will be a lot of content that's gonna come, how to use AI truly for data, and how to make it secure and all those stuff. But I need some time about it in order to prepare it for you, but this is something that's gonna happen this year. I'm not saying next year or something like that. So that means I will continue with the Power BI, DAX and all those stuff. There's gonna be weekly videos about it. And about Python, a lot of you are asking about Python. I'm gonna come after September. I think I'm gonna do a quick vacation, and then starting from September, I'm gonna go with the advanced topics of Python. So this is as well something that I would like to announce. About Databricks, I might bring from time to time some Databricks projects, but I'm really focusing now to bring you this topic, Claude, AI and data, and honest one, and real one. I'm not gonna be another one talking about AI. So if you are willing to join this journey with me about this channel and stuff, make sure to support, guys. This is really important. Only 30 are supporting with those likes and stuff. My videos takes time until to produce. I have to sketch everything. Everything happens manually, by the way. All the sketches that I do, everything happens manually. I have to do all those stuff. I spend hours sketching those stuff. I could make everything paid, but thanks God I have sponsor like Data Camp. They sponsored my videos, and this allows me to make free content for you. Otherwise, I have big announcement that's gonna come this year. I cannot say which is exactly. It's not about Claude or AI, but there will be gonna be a big announcement about the channel, and but I'm gonna wait a little bit for it. So there will be a lot of excitement, that I'm gonna bring to the channel. That's why I'm a little bit now, slow on making content, but for sure there will be some, I'm gonna say, epic things that's gonna come. So I hope that you are excited about it. I enjoyed so much this live session. I'm gonna make the second live session about data architects. It's gonna be a quicker one, not like this. And I'm gonna make one live session. It's all about my story. So it will not be a technical one. I want to explain for you my story. Who am I? How did this work as I was someone in Syria, and how I moved to Germany, how I studied, how I climbed in the company. I maybe as well about some private things, how my mindset, how I think. So I would like to make one live session about me, let's say, to understand who is Baraa, who did make this SQL and stuff like that. Maybe inspires you, because I came from a situation that is not that easy. I had a lot of struggle until I reached what I have now, which is I'm really happy about it. So I'm gonna make another live stream called Who is Baraa, and it's gonna be stories about my life. If you are interested, of course, you can join. But for the data architecture, I promise you another session to focus more about taking a requirement, build data architecture from it, live stream, and as well to talk about few data modeling techniques. What is data vault and why do we need data vault? Yeah. So I'm really happy about this session. I hope you enjoyed it. Did you like it? Do you have any questions before we wrap up? Did you enjoy this session? Did it make sense for you? If yes, then I'm really happy. I'm gonna say thank you so much for joining this live session. I really enjoyed it. It was a long one. I don't know how long are we, but I'm gonna check afterwards. And yeah, maybe I'm gonna make Baraa bricks. Who knows? So have a nice evening and good sleep at India side. And thank you so much for joining. And see you next time. Bye bye. And next time I bring some music. 3 hours, crazy. 3 hours.